Good morning. We're gonna call meeting to order. First on the agendas is the invocation. Sheriff, can you give us the invocation and also the pledge? Thank you.
We bow our heads. Father, we thank you right now for this meeting on today. Thank you for allowing us to see another day on God's earth here. And I just pray, Lord God, that as we conduct your business today, that let our hearts, our minds, and our focus be on you and on this community. Let us carry out in a professional manner and do what you called and anointed us to do. These and many more blessings we ask you in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sheriff. And next is the approval of the docket. Have everyone read the docket? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Yes. Can I get a second?
Second.
Got a motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? I have one. Second. It's page. The transaction number is going to be 220841. Do you need to find? No. Okay. And that's that's just clearing up that Supervisor Middleton and Supervisor Wilson did not attend that conference, so we don't need to be clearing that. All in favor say aye with corrections. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carried. Unanimously. Okay, next on the agenda is Mr. Manning Phillips and Congressman Greg Harper to give us an update.
Thank you so much, President Hutchins, and we are honored to be here and get a chance to come and explain and talk to you about a few things and hopefully answer some questions. I'll do the easy questions. I'm going to let Manning do the more difficult questions. But looking back on what we've done this past year, it's it's just been an honor to work for Natchez and Adams County and the things that you have here. And it's great to have an area that sells itself, and it's just so many things that the history, just a great place to live. And to get a chance to work with the board has been really special to us. Going back and looking, Manning and I have now spent over 500 hours this last year working specifically for you guys and the things that are going here. And it's been, we believe, a very busy and very productive. And we're excited about the future as well, President Hutchins, and the board members and the opportunities that we have. But I just wanted to discuss a few things kind of looking back, and then Manning Phillips will come in and discuss some of the successes we've had and some of the other things that we know that will be of interest to you guys, and then try to take a few of those questions. One of the things that was really special to us is we had an opportunity to work together with the city and the county is the fact that you came in with some shared priorities that were very important. That included Morgantown Road, which continues to be a big focus, as well as the Forks of the Road slave market. And we've had successes on both. We have some things that are pending successes that we're waiting on the reports on those as well. And we've had obviously numerous meetings, events, things that we put together. And you can go back and look at how well everyone worked together. Just look at the Forks of the Road ceremony that we had. for the land acquisition that was done for this part of the Juneteenth celebration. To get in, to be able to bring in Senator Roger Wicker, Congressman Michael Guest, have representatives from the other offices that were there in attendance, and see the community support that's there is something that just really speaks to everyone. And it's something that helps us see and get a chance to embrace history that maybe, without question, hasn't gotten the attention that it's needed over the years. And to be able to work with National Park Services on that and with this board, I think we can see we've got some great days ahead, obviously, as we look at funding. And that is the deal, as we look at your priorities. How do we locate state and federal funding that might be available to help us in some of those things? And we've also been able to arrange for visits not only of your federal delegation to come, but sometimes more important than having the actual U.S. Senator or United States Congressman here is to have some of their staff here, the ones that deal with so much of the nuts and bolts areas that are there. And we've had them come in. We've had some of you in Jackson. We've also, particularly when it comes to the Morgantown Road effort, as an example, is we've had meetings with the Mississippi Department of Transportation, both in Jackson, also at the Macomb office, conversations with Commissioner King, Tom King. And so we've been able to get a lot of support there by working those and having those contacts and those friendships. Also, discussions with, one of the things we want to do obviously is promote and develop the airport. And working on that, trying to find money available that would help. We've had some successes there. I know there's a lot of effort by the county and the city to bring in a carrier, where you can have commercial air travel into Natchez, which I think is a key part of future economic development going forward, to be able to have that and work those things as we go ahead. We've also been able to arrange for some state legislators to come and visit. And also in Jackson, I know Manning McPhillips has a number of meetings with them in the Jackson area. And so it's keeping Natchez and Adams County in the forefront, where when folks see us come in, they know they're going to discuss something that's important to Adams County. So we've had those things that are there. I'm going to ask Manning McPhillips now to discuss some of the successes, some of the other things there, and then we're both available to discuss some questions that you may have. You've also got a report in front of you that kind of outlines some of the things that we've talked about that I believe will be beneficial for you to look at later. And of course, each of you should have our cell numbers. If you have a follow-up question, you may not be able to look at that in the course of this morning in full detail, but we're available. Just reach out to us. We look forward to our shared future.
Thank you.
Thank you. And very briefly, I wanted to go through a couple of the successes from this year. Number one, on the Forks of the Road slave market, we were able to secure $400,000 for property acquisition. In addition to that $400,000, there's another $538,000 in the current appropriation bill that's pending in DC. On Morgantown Road, we're able to work with MDOT about getting striping and reflectors and more signage. I know that's not the end of the road. We're trying to obviously get it reconstructed, but it was an interim first step to improve the safety situation while we try to get dollars to do that reconstruction. And that's actually, we have an earmark in one of the Senate appropriation bills that's pending right now. So hopefully that stays in there. We're working with the delegation to keep that in there so we can get those dollars. On Bellwood Levee, we were able to secure $1 million working with your local legislative delegation. Got $1 million from the state to complete the Bellwood Levee project down at the port. We worked with the airport and the congressional delegation to get the runway project fully funded and completed. So that's now fully funded. And then on some of your historic assets, working with Archives and History and the delegation on Jefferson College and Grand Village of the Natchez Indians, trying to make some improvements there that we're still working on. In terms of next year, what we're focused on is, again, continuing the funding for Forks of the Road, working with the Park Service to try to get another $598,000 included in their budget and in the appropriations process next year. We'll be working with Natchez Inc. and the city on local and private legislation to extend your authority to contribute to Natchez Inc. and all the good work they're doing there. This year, with the recent passage of the federal infrastructure bill, which the president plans to sign today, there'll be a lot more resources to go after for port improvements, for airport improvements, for road and bridge work. There's a lot of opportunities coming up this year, not to mention the additional resources that the state has. So I think a lot of your priorities we've got a really good shot at working on and trying to build on the successes that we saw this year. So that's just a quick highlight. Some of the things. I think we've had a productive year, but I'm very excited about next year. I think that we've got a lot of opportunities. So if y'all have any questions, we're happy to go through them.
Anyone have any questions?
Yes, Madam President. First of all, I want to thank y'all for everything that you're doing and continue to do for Natchez and Adams County, but I do have some concerns about that money for Morgantown Road. And I understand that the president gonna sign that infrastructure bill today, but me as one supervisor, this been going on since 2004, and I know this administration right here, this board right here has promised the residents of the Morgantown road out there that we was gonna get this done. And I understand it's a time limit, and I understand how this works, but me as one supervisor need to know if the timeline of trying to get that money, because I'm not willing to go into another election and then made a promise to these people out in Morgantown that we was gonna take care of them, because that's the most dangerous road in Adams County. And if we can't get it, then we need to look at another revenue to try to get that money to try to alleviate this problem out in Morgantown. Second, it's the way that money gonna trigger down. I know the state have a lot of money and it's going through MDOT or whatever the case may be. By any chance, if we get some more money from the federal level, it's gonna trigger down through the state, and we're gonna have to lobby the state to try to get whatever we wanna get for Natchez and Adams County? Is that not true?
In some cases, yes, sir. Sometimes it'll come through the state, sometimes it'll be done as a competitive grant program through one of the federal agencies. Depends on the program.
Well, I don't know how to say it, but to say it the way it is, I do have some concerns about on the federal level, with all this money that we have, knowing that how it's gonna work for us or against us, knowing that two of our representatives that represent Adams County voted against it. How would that work in us trying to get them to try to put money into something that they voted against? And I know one of them voted for it, but I'm just being real. You know, if you vote against something, then you turn around and go to the same people you voted against it and say, well, we need this money to go to Adams County. What do you think our chances are of getting that money, knowing that they represent our area and they voted against it?
Yeah, and I'll say on Morgantown Road, we completely agree. We've been trying, sort of turning over every rock to try to get dollars as quickly as possible. We do have money for Morgantown Road in the appropriations bill in DC right now, in the Senate. What we need the House and the Senate to do, they've got to come together and agree on a bill. We've got to try to keep that funding in that bill. If that doesn't work, we're going to go to MDOT, who just got a lot more money through the infrastructure bill. try to get some dollars tied to the project there, or through the legislature, where again, they've got a lot of asks. So we're sort of in an all of the above strategy for Morgantown Road. I can assure you, whatever we can get the dollars the fastest, that's what we're working on.
And President Gray, you know, former President Gray, President Hutchins, I'm sorry, Supervisor Gray, you know, and certainly President Hutchins knows, we spent a lot of time on Morgantown Road. This board, we've been down there, we've driven the length of it numerous times. We tried to do the steps that we could. On the earmarks, just keep in mind, we're waiting on that. I think we'll know in the not too distant future on the success of those remaining in the appropriations bill. But the infrastructure bill that you referred that they voted against, the earmarks, the money's not in there, wasn't in that bill for this. The earmarks are in the appropriations bill, so it's a little bit different.
Okay.
And we do know that we have their support on trying to do stuff on Morgantown Road. Their staff has stepped up. They've been there to help us. They understand the pressure and sensitivity and certainly the timeline. It never happens like we want it to happen. We wanted it done, in 2004. So those are things that it does take some time. So I believe we have $2.4 million for Morgantown that's in the earmark right now. It was in the House bill, thanks to Congressman Guest. It did get stripped out of the House bill, but it is in the Senate bill, that 2.4. If we get that, then we're going to celebrate. If we don't, then we're going to be going to MDOT and doing these things that Manny Phillips is referring to. And it's still, our top priority along with the Forks of the Road slave market to make sure we get to where we need to go. But we agree, it's it's not the road you want to drive on at night in the dark, or maybe any time when it's raining. But it is something that's very important. I mean, it's a long road, it's city and county, and we do acknowledge that importance, that priority. We're going to do everything we can, Supervisor Gray, to make that happen.
Well, let me say this, because I don't want nobody to think that I made a comment that Congressman Guest and Senator Sidney Hines Smith didn't do what they supposed to do to get this money in a bill. That's not what I'm saying, but you know how politics go. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Do y'all think that, cause I just looked on my iPad, they say the president named former New Orleans Mayor Mitch Lanigan to oversee the infrastructure plan. Do you think if we had some kind of connection with him, would that even help us out to try to get some money coming toward this way?
I can just tell you, we will speak to anybody that we think can help us get to where we need to go, including the former.
The reason I ask, because I know somebody that served on the Katrina deal with him that lives in New Orleans and real close to him. So if y'all think that reaching out to him will help, I can put you in contact with the person I know, and maybe y'all can go through. Well, I know you know him, but maybe y'all could work together.
We'd be excited to do that. Anything you've got, Supervisor Gray, would be good.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
I think they about covered everything.
Yeah, they did pretty well.
Thank y'all so much for working for Adams County and the city.
It's all right.
I can see y'all doing a lot of work, and I believe this is gonna go through Morgantown Road.
Well, we hope that and other stuff as well, Supervisor.
It's gonna be fun when it starts at Morgantown Road. People are.
They won't be happy for a little while.
It's gonna be to do that project. But
That's it.
I thank you all.
Thank you so
all
much.
have been great. I know I have been working with you all for the past year, and you've been doing what we asked of you all, and I know, Manny, you've been really, backwards and forwards with this Morgantown project and trying to get things done. You're great, so I really appreciate all the things that you have done for Adams County.
Thank you,
Continue
President
to do.
Hutchins. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Mayor, I noticed the mayor had come in.
I-
Do you
I'm-
have anything you wanna say to them?
I'm just here to say, wow, it has been a great year. We're very grateful. And we're so grateful for our partnership with you, the city and the county working together. It goes back to that first meeting we had when you were President, Greg. And you said, teamwork makes the dream work. And we're seeing a lot of things as a result. I'll also say I've had the pleasure of meeting Mayor Landry, and this was last couple of years ago in Jackson at an event at the Civil Rights Museum. And he and Warren Ruther, are very close friends. And he said then, because at the time I talked to him about what I was planning to do, and here in Natchez, I was just a candidate at that time. And he said, anything we can do to help Natchez. He even said that he would come to Natchez and visit with us if we ever wanted him to come.
Now's the time.
So now's the time.
Yeah, now's the time.
Well, that's amazing.
Tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you, President.
Appreciate everything.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Maddie. Great.
All right, next on the agenda.
Oh, and we gotta thank Chandler too.
Yeah, definitely we don't need to be challenged. Chandler Pinterest with us also. I think you have a lot to say too. Next on the agenda, we have Timothy Smith and Miss Eva Smith.
We already took care of it.
It's already been taken care of?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something. Very well.
They left?
They took
Okay,
care of it.
okay, great. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is Mr. Greg West with the state championship road update.
Good morning, President Hutchins and all Adams County public officials. First of all, I'm here to say thank you for y'all being the first one we heard of and gave your full support to the high school team in the state championships road idea.
Hey, why don't you just put them across
I
here?
want the people out here to be.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna say put them across here, they can see them, if they lay them all across here. We're just gonna give him a home so.
I first came to you in December. Then President Gray and the board liked the idea, asked that I come back. So I came back in February with some more detailed information, and now I'm here today. And you see the sign. After leaving you the next day, I went to the city, and the mayor and the board of aldermen wholeheartedly supported the idea. The mayor or someone made a motion that they give $1,500 to the purchase of 30 signs, and they did. When I left the city, I went to the school district, and the superintendent also agreed and made a commitment of $1,500 for 30 signs. So we're up to 60 signs, and we're back today. As you have a copy of your commitment per President Hutchins that was made in February meeting, that's recorded in the minutes. Also, there are 7 of the 8 schools that have won championships. Darryl has the other one. Of course, he's going to show Thompson. His uncle was the coach of the Thompson team. And the other one, North Natchez, is already up there, but his father coached this team and he played on it.
Oh, wow.
So they won that one.
Okay. Great.
we're aware there were other schools, like Francis, Romefield, just to name a few, Washington, just hadn't found any championship yet. Thomas Jefferson, there may be others, but we're still looking into that. Before you make any final decisions, I have another option that you might want to consider. I have requested that you provide up to 60 posts for the 60 signs that we might get to. At that time, we had discovered 55. After that meeting and continual searching by the committee, we discovered at least 20 more championships, which brings a total of at least 80 confirmed championship signs. You have two pictures I put on your desk. One is a picture of the parking lot between the safe room, by the safe room, and between the baseball field inside the fence where the suggested location of the signs will be. And the collage is a picture from one end of the fence to the other with that 3 to 4 foot space where the signs are potentially will go. On that collage is one picture where 4 signs, I want to put 4 signs on the fence between 2 posts. If you can see that one picture on the collage where the signs are. That section from one post to the other, there are 30 of those. So with 4 signs being able to fit in one section, that's 120 signs that can possibly go on the fence. So if the fence can be repaired and cleaned up from one end to the other, the signs can be placed on the fence as shown in one of the pictures. Then you won't have to purchase and install the posts. I don't know if you own the fence. I was told that the school district might own the fence. That's something we could look into. Any questions so far?
Do anyone have any questions?
I'd make a comment on it. I like the idea of putting it on the fence because that's one less thing we have to mow around. You put 80 poles out there, somebody's gonna be doing a lot of weeding and stuff. So if we can repair the fence and it go on there in a nice, neat form, I think that'd be great.
It looks good on the fence too.
Only question I have, I don't know, I'm just asking a question. Because we got schools with multiple championships and schools continue to win championships.
All right.
Is it any kind of way on that fence that it could go up higher and you could put some below with the same school? Like if a school got 7 championships, if you could put 4 up top and maybe put the other 3 below, cause are you gonna have enough room to run that thing all the way down with all those championships?
Well, that's what I was explaining. Right now, that fence will hold 120 signs. We only have 80. So we're looking at 60 more championships that had to be won.
Oh, we gonna get that.
Wait, are you gonna start this by the earliest
And
and move forward? Is that
right.
Oh,
That's,
okay,
that's,
so it's
that's,
gonna-
we start in what you call it, chronological order.
Yes, sir.
So we'll just add as they win, like Cathedral done won one of the last 60 years. So right now they'll have one in a row. But we did think about putting them by each school in their own category. Then we had to have for the 3 high schools that still exist, Cathedral, Natchez High, and AC. We'd have to provide enough room for each of those schools in case they want some more. So this way, we'll just add to the end. And by chance you do get to the end, you go across the street to the swimming pool and the fence run that way too. So it's room if there, it's room there, just have to get approval. And so we can wait on and look into it. I mean, if y'all would look into it, if y'all own the fence or I don't know who owns the fence.
Brian?
Yeah, I just got one question looking forward, being over there. Those signs, I would recommend we take the fence down the trees, because when you put those signs up, you build the barrier, so when strong wind comes, what you think those signs gonna do to that fence? You'll have a lot of pressure on that fence. So I would recommend, if we can put them in one stake, like a T-post, put some distance between them so wind can easily go between them. Because you start putting all those signs up there, it's gonna be just like a privacy fence. So we getting straight line wind of it, because them oak trees over there, they dropping leaves, limbs, pretty much every time we have a storm. So I don't wanna just do a project to try to save money, and the cost us in the long run trying to put them back up. So if we can take the fence down, because it's not doing any security thing, it's just use T-posts, I think we would be better off if one sign falls down than 20 or 30 of them. That's just my recommendation.
Not a bad recommendation. What do you all think, boy?
I mean, I'm just thinking if we take the fence down, then we got that whole area over there unsecured, the whole area over there. I don't know if we want to do that.
But we don't lock the gate, they can just walk the road, so it's not secure, the fence is not serving a purpose, because we can't legally close that off because it's safer. So, you know, so it's not,
If somebody do something over there, they gotta go through that gate.
well, it's not locked.
I know,
Ain't no
but
camera.
if you don't have no fence over there, then
I don't think nobody gonna jump no ditch and then just go around the driveway. I'm just saying, you know. I'm just being real, fence ain't serving a purpose, you just get limbs on it, and like I said, you try to weed eat, you know, so, but that's y'all decision.
Well, that's something we can take on the advisement and look into, you know, we'll search that and see which is the best route to take.
And while I'm here, also one of the committee members, Ms. Deere, also has something that she wants to present to you concerning this championship round. Ms. Deere.
Ms. Deere.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Lord, thank you for letting me come and talk to y'all this morning. So as Greg said, we discovered some other championships, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about. I was responsible for 3 schools, for researching and collecting information about championships for 3 schools. Natchez High, the original Natchez High School, South Natchez, Adams High School, and in between, Natchez Adams High School. So the first piece, and I have found some more championships. So the first piece of paper that you have in front of you is all of the championships from those 3 schools. And the ones that have an asterisk are the new ones. And there's 6 of them. And the second piece of paper is those 6 new championships. From Natchez Adams High School and South Natchez Adams High School. So you should have 2 pieces of paper that have championships listed on them. Do you not have that, Supervisor Gray?
You say that the ones with the asterisks are new championship?
Are the new ones, right. And then I separated them out on the second piece of paper.
Those are the new championships that she found.
Additional that she wasn't
Yes,
aware of. They
she
weren't
wasn't aware of.
Yeah, and doing some additional research, I found 6 new championships.
Okay.
So I got an estimate from the sign company that we previously used for 6 new signs, and the total is $390. Greg and I attended, as he said, the Natchez Board of Aldermen meeting last week, and I made a presentation to them and asked them if they would fund a third of the cost of the signs, and they unanimously approved that request. I'm trying to follow the model that we previously used.
The mayor must didn't hear that.
I just got distracted by a text at just the most opportune moment.
So, I'm here to ask you this morning if the Board of Supervisors would please approve paying $130, a third of the cost, for 6 new signs to go on the Championship Road.
Our attorney can take that out of his pocket.
And the third piece is a quote from the signing company.
Okay. You heard the request?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask y'all to do, if it's the board's pleasure to approve it, mind you, also to clarify the previous minutes. This falls under the advertising of the possibilities of the county. So it just didn't mark it on that previous minute entry.
So moved.
We got a motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gray. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. The ayes have it, motion carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I think everybody is pleased. You can't be pleased with this project. It's a great thing for our community, something we can all be proud of.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. It does, it looks nice. I appreciate this.
Let me
You
just
have
add,
something?
one of the deceased
Green,
coaches,
go to the mic.
one of the deceased coaches' son, Henry Dr. Woods, he has contributed to the purchase of actually there's gonna be a head sign project that's gonna say Natchez Adams County High School Championship Team, once we have finalized that. But also Cathedral got like 17 or 18 more, that's what brings it up to 80, and they're gonna take care of theirs. So I just wanted to share with you that we also have support coming in.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much.
I just wanted to say for that part, a great thing, working together, isn't it good? We'll get out of your way.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Next on the agenda, we have Mr. Chris Richardson with Horn LLP. Is he here?
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Again, my name is Chris Richardson. I'm with Horn LLP. We are a business management and accounting firm based in Ridgeland, Mississippi. We're a national firm, but we're Mississippi first and foremost. And because of that, we want to see our communities and our counties and municipalities thrive. And as you begin to consider uses for your state and local recovery funds through the American Rescue Plan, there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. And I'm joined today by Timothy Smith, who's a senior member of our staff. And if you'll just indulge us just for a few minutes, we'd love to tell you a little bit more about us and what we do and how we do it. Thanks. Timothy?
Good morning. We appreciate you guys having us. Again, I work with Horn LLP. I'm actually a lawyer, so I think most folks recognize Horn as being an accounting firm, so I'm kind of the fox in the hen house, I guess, in some ways. But I was, I don't know, you guys hear me? You hear me okay? Yeah. So actually, my background is in government too. I was a general counsel for the Department of Public Safety for 11 years and been at Horn for 5. And my work and what I'll do when I leave here is go and help counties manage their federal dollars that they're getting. And so Horn, as of this month and the last 15 years, kind of starting out of Katrina, has managed about $90 billion in federal funds across the country, from California to New York, Puerto Rico. I actually personally managed a large project in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. We have been heavily involved in helping states and local governments manage their COVID money, CARES Act, and now ARPA money to the tune of about $30 billion as of right now. So we're helping the state of Tennessee manage all of their ARPA funds, Maine manage all of their ARPA funds. We're running the emergency rental assistance programs in California and Texas and in a lot of other places. I'm speaking to you today because I have direct knowledge and experience as a project manager for several counties that we're managing. So we're managing Mobile County, Alabama, their local fiscal recovery disbursement. We're managing Scott County, Mississippi, and also Clark County. And there are a litany of ways that you can do things. Supervisor Gray, you were mentioning Morgantown Road. A lot of people believe, or maybe have the erroneous belief, that these funds can only be used for 3 or 4 different things. And in some ways that's true, but we do have pending legislation in Washington right now that you may or may not be aware of that will free up to 30% of your funds for general infrastructure like roads and bridges. So I believe you have roughly $6 million in local fiscal recovery. So you're looking at freeing up almost $2 million for roads and bridge work. Our best and highest use for you guys, quite honestly, is probably not a full management of your services. So we do manage in larger jurisdictions like Mobile, we manage it from beginning to end. Probably the best use that we could provide you guys would be to help you with what we term risk assessments. And so those risk assessments help you determine, is this a good or a bad expenditure? So all this money is going to get audited, and for that reason, a lot of counties and quite honestly, a lot of states are very reluctant around these expenditures. And so we perform risk assessments where we have subject matter experts take objective views in layers. So we have one analyst look at your potential expenditure. A second analyst looks at it completely anew, so there's no bias. We're trying to take the subjectivity out of it, and then we'll have a third layer where myself or another subject matter expert will kind of give the thumbs up or thumbs down. We issue a report for you guys so that you know that unequivocally the desired expenditure is permissible under the federal rules and regulations or not. And we can also help you set up your policies and procedures such that it's you can have a perfectly good expenditure, say expansion of hospital rooms in a local hospital, and that's going to be well and good. But if you don't document those things throughout the actual work, then the auditors are going to have things to pick at you about and potentially deobligate or claw back funds. And so that's where having good policies and procedures matters too. It gives you a roadmap to follow so that you know what documentation you need to preserve, so that when the auditors see it, they can see that the money was used in a way that is kosher with the federal rules and regulations. And so we'd love to be able to help you out. We are Mississippi. I'm a Grenada guy. Lived in small town most of my life. And you know, it's a joy to come here. I kind of started my legal career and depositions in y'all hotel a long time ago. And so I love this town and love this county, and have a lot of good friends from this area. And so it'd certainly be a pleasure to help you guys out. But I don't know if you have any questions or comments.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Madam President, I don't have no question, but I like what he's saying about possibility we can use some of that money for voluntary roads.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make you this promise. Whether or not we end up formally working for you, I'll let you know if that legislation passes. We're anticipating that it will pass. So it's bifurcated. You can spend up to 30% of your money or $10 million, whichever is the greater number. So larger jurisdictions are going to have $10 million freed up. So my client in Mobile, they'll likely have $10 million they can use on roads and bridges. You guys, it will be 30% because of the size of your allocation. And so I'll let you know that anyway, just because you need to be aware of those things. But I would also recommend, irrespective of whether we are helping you, that you document everything. So document, and have it separate and apart and not conflated with other sources of documentation. Because of the size of it, it's over $750,000 distribution you've received. It's going to get audited, and if it's misspent, you're going to cut a check back to the federal government. And so, but anyway, you have our contact information, Chris, and again, I'm Timothy Smith. Please feel free, reach out to us anytime. We want to help if possible. And like I said, we're Mississippi folks. We want you guys to do well. So.
Well, we thank you for
Yeah.
coming and appreciate that information.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you guys for your time.
Did you happen to go to Kirk Academy?
I did. Sure did.
Yeah, we're a little sore about that, okay?
Well, my parents made me go there, so I hear about some.
We all.
Yeah, well, I've heard of that. So as a former Kirk Academy Raider, it's it's kind of like Haley's comment making it to the state championship game.
Well, they played a good game.
Well, thank you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. We appreciate you. What are they here for?
Miss Gibbons.
Miss Gibbons?
I'm not bringing you notes.
What are they here for? Was it abandoned roads? Okay, Miss Gibbons, is her name?
Yeah, we wanna go ahead and take care of you, seeing you got a young child and get you out of here.
Just very impressed with that.
I know, she's sitting there. You ain't kidding.
So if
I
one of
guess
y'all
that's
can come to the podium. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You wanna get up and go to the mic?
Madam President, too, while she's getting up here, Supervisor Wilson brought her over to talk with us before, and there was a public road or portion of a public road back in 1993. The portion of it was. It's not mine.
The mayor of Ray Harper lay it down.
Answer it, they made me look for it.
A portion of it was abandoned, and there was actually a deed that was prepared and signed, everything abandoning that road. The minutes reflect that there was a abandonment of the road. This was back in 1993, I believe. The question that I would have too is what the road the road maps and road registry state as of 2000. And what they currently show. And so I'm gonna have to research this with Robbie and get back to her on it. Back in 2000, the roads, basically people were claiming what were public and what was private and all that. So the legislature created a plan where all county roads had to be registered. There would be a big hearing to decide what roads were public and private. Some roads were knocked off, some roads were brought back on. So even if it was abandoned, there may be a situation where while the lesser roads, while the lesser roads were in fact abandoned in 93, the road registry shows the previous road as 2000, and then if it's been worked since then, it could have lost its privateness and become public again. So that's what we just have to look at to make sure what it is when it comes to it. I wasn't trying to cut you off, I was just trying to help explain that.
Yeah, this road has already been torn up, so there's no more asphalt. My mom has a fence what happened is there was a fence, and during the ice storm, Entergy had to cut the fence down and go in. Well, after the ice storm, apparently somebody has come and purchased 4 acres adjoining this. Well, since the fence was down, they decided that was a road, and they started going across the road. Instead of cutting their bamboo to go on their property, they were going on my mom's property, which is this 100 feet, I think, of roadway. And whenever they did it back in 1993, they did not, apparently they didn't file the papers over at the courthouse, so we're supposed to go file those papers.
And so the road, some of the paperwork was filed in the courthouse.
Right.
What I would try to interject, the most important paperwork was in the courthouse. That's the county's minutes. There was not a deeding back to that was recorded from what you're saying. But again, the board, the county speaks by and through its minutes. Now there are some. This is the nerd in me. There's some. If the deed records say this, that, and the other, sometimes that can be impugned on the county. But typically, for a county to act, it has to be in the minutes. So that part, if this is legit, which I have no reason to think so, then the minutes actually are adequately reflecting in what happened there. What happens is what happened after that in 2000 could have accidentally or purposely, whatever, could have reconstituted as public. But that's why we have to research it and make sure.
Okay. So we're just asking that the neighbors not be allowed to build a driveway across this property. They have their own access. It's going to take a little work because there's bamboos there, but they can go through their own bamboo instead of go through this property.
Well, and again, what we can look at is see whether it's a public road or private road, and get you back on that. If it's your neighbors doing things they shouldn't, unfortunately, or fortunately for us, we don't have to get involved.
Well, I was running this picture. They were going to show up today and say, we want to have this road open back up, determined to be back at County Road.
And they may have reached out. There's something similar to this.
And I have no idea who they are.
This may have come out to us before.
I know just enough to be dangerous with this, so I really don't know who the neighbors are. I mean, Mr. David may know who they are.
What we're gonna do, if you're like the spokesperson or whatever, what we can do is get your name and contact information over to Corvette, and then when Robbie and I and Kevin, I'm sure you'll wanna look at it too, if this is.
I don't know.
It's in,
Is
I
it
think,
in
because
Lawrence?
Warren,
Okay,
it's
Warren's
I
definitely
think,
on
Yeah.
it.
You know anything about this road?
he does, he has some information on it. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
it's
Mr.
the old, this old McNeil Road that runs through there, and it's county property up on the main road where the intersection comes into Old Courthouse Road. I have it here, and I'll get with Scott. I met with the the landowner that purchased the property last Wednesday, Thursday, to look about putting a drive, and told him that I would bring it before the board, speak with the board, but as looking at it, for getting in that intersection to put one, they got enough road frontage really to put their own drive in front of their own property, which I spoke with President Hutchins this morning about it before the meeting, and I was just gonna get with Scott, because I didn't see the owners here this morning that talked the property. They mentioned they were coming, but,
So we'll get together, you, me, and Robbie, and get it researched out. If you can get Corvette, your contact information, and once we report back to you, we'll rely on you to report back to the rest of the people,
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs.
Y'all are welcome to stay, but, you don't have to.
I'm sure my mom's ready to go.
That's
No,
not,
give it to
Corvette,
Ms.
Corvette's in.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
that's okay.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
And we want to teach baby whispering, just.
Come in my grandbabies. Sugar, how to sit still and quiet.
Just like Rowan Rain in church.
Yeah. Just like my kids.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome, you're welcome. Next on the agenda, we have any city government business, any city government business?
Madam President. Okay, here we go, special call meeting, the mayor and the
We're
board.
not having that, I don't know nothing about that, I got that this
Okay.
morning and I was at home.
Maybe they made a mistake.
Maybe, I think he came in here thinking that was a special call meeting with him and you, the mayor,
Oh,
but
they
that was,
supposed to
that's
have
what I'm
it
saying.
out at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, I saw that,
Their meeting with Manning and Greg
Right.
at 12, I think.
Right.
I don't
Okay.
think
We
they
need-
do that.
yeah, I told him we could not do that, we had our own meeting, so that was a mistake. Chandler, you wanna give, some information on the city and county, business where we went to Baton Rouge with the airline? people?
Yeah. Awesome.
An update on that?
Yeah, basically, me and Angela and the mayor, went down, and, Richard with the airport, went down, they had a, aviation conference where it was a combination of airport managers and, private operators and airline, basically companies that are operating commercial air service. And so we did have to get to have a dinner with several, actually, private carriers and a couple of major airlines that might be interested. It's a it was a learning experience, I think, for all of us, and including Richard, just first conference of that type that we've been to. But we didn't, Angela and I didn't actually attend the conference. We just went to and our meetings with those representatives. The conference is extremely expensive, and something we didn't think was a good expenditure for all of us to attend, so we just hosted some dinners. But it was a good event. Hopefully we made some headway, some progress with them. I also wanted to, I know y'all been seeing some of the Colossus or biofuels news. You know, remember they're publicly traded companies, so when they have news, they have to divulge it to their shareholders, and so it could be in between meetings, so we could be behind on press from time to time from there. But they have had extreme, I guess, good fortune here of late. You saw where they have a fully committed agreements for their offtake at a set fuel price for both a 10 and 15-year offtake agreements, meaning the entire capacity of the entire plant is sold for the 15-year period. So approximately about $3 billion in contracts and offtake agreements. Really puts them in a significant position to move forward in probably a more accelerated timeline than where we were. So we're excited about that great news from them. And again, I'd encourage you to go to biofuels.com. There's a good both video and 3D image of what the facility, what the property will look like once built out, and kind of their process that is taking place there. On some other news, I was going to see if I'll share with you our development out on near Route 61. We're still in the process of closing. I don't think we probably need executive session for this, but they're still in the process of finalizing everything. So it's going to be a bit cryptic here until they close on their final agreements. But looks like near out by Route 61, just to the south of them, about a $20 million development will take place out in that area, and it's going to be a nice development, something that the county will be extremely proud of out there. But probably will have a announcement or in mid-January is what we set as an announcement date for that. So some good news out in that direction also. Continue to make progress on our Project Apollo, which is has the option on the IP site. So things are moving along at a rapid pace. The only, I guess, formal request of the board, Scott's been working on, and I just basically for our property tax exemptions for Southern Designs, Loss Prevention Services, and Delta Fuel, and so basically it's a two-step process to have them for their property tax exemptions. Well, in this case, we have to do the city also, since it's inside the city limits. Typically, we just do the county because all of our projects are, and most of the time, are outside the city. But in this instance, we've got to, and I was going to see if the board, after Scott, just go ahead and get it, the ball rolling. We'll pass those resolutions for the approval of the application, which we come back and you have a final approval of the actual tax exemption piece, and so we get that done at the next meeting. Just so, and we're trying to just kind of keep them together since we don't want to keep bogging your meeting up with multiple issues. But as far as progress on all of those projects, Southern Designs is in production, and their facility has met their job threshold, which is about 30 jobs. Met all their capital investment threshold. Delta Fuels is continuing to work through, so you know they've got multiple sites. They've got the 521 Main and the Callan building. They're still in renovation of the Callan building, and so that project will actually, until they complete the renovation, it will not be an act, the project will not be moving, as far as the,
They gotta complete the project before they get their incentives.
Right. And so, but they have moved, and met their job requirement already under the agreement with the 521 employees that they've gone ahead and moved over there. So, and then LPS, is at about 130 of the 200 that we've got. They got 3 years to hit that mark. Officially, probably only started the proverbial clock about 6 months ago. So until you get the completed space and it's operational, and it's fully operational, that's actually when the time starts. But they've met all their capital investment goals, or exceeded all their capital investment goals at the site. And quite frankly, if you probably wouldn't have had the Delta variant with the COVID deal, it probably would have already met there. But also basically it slowed them down, as you can imagine. Major banks and customers and things like that are foreclosing and doing things that they typically do under normal non-pandemic circumstances, and so they kind of held back until that gets back to some of our normal operations. But all in all, it's they meeting the expectations. We have no qualms about how they're proceeding, and expect them to be successful for the many years ahead. So, but I don't know, Scott, how do you want to?
It's the board's prerogative. I would like to approve it with pending legal review of the resolutions or of the applications.
Approve what?
The tax.
The incentives for these companies.
What are the incentives?
What would it become?
The city and the counties ad valorem taxes for the new equipment and the improvements on their property. Those are going to be held in abeyance. The school taxes will still have to be paid in full. That's your normal tax,
For
abeyance.
how long?
10 years. That's the maximum allowed by law.
So if they don't hit their mark, one of them, he say, if they don't hit their mark, then what happens?
So they got to hit their mark to get their incentives. Some of them also have additional incentives like loss prevention. There was some public improvement on the parking lot. They have to repay that grant, and they don't get that public parking lot stays public after the end of the thing, as opposed to they earn the public parking lot back. Southern Sign had some grant work behind them. They'd have to repay that as well.
Hold up, Scott.
All that's going through the city though, because it's inside the city. So,
Yeah.
I'm getting confused because I thought that parking lot, that's, the old A&P, parking lot, the reason that we did it was because, where the public could utilize it at all times, after hours. That's what I was told.
That,
If something else going on, I don't know nothing about it.
yeah, it's still public until they complete their incentives, and then I think, well, whatever the max is that we could get it, and then divert it back to the
I
private.
ain't had no idea nothing like that was going on. So what I'm gonna recommend before I vote on anything, I need to see the paperwork and I need to read it for myself.
Okay.
I don't want all these unanswered questions like what I'm doing right now. Because what I was told is totally different from what's going on. So my thing is from now on with these incentives and all that, I just need to have it in black and white. Even though you the attorney, you gonna look over it too, I wanna look over it for myself.
Those incentives, I'm sorry that there was a miscommunication on it. Until the city and the county are all, until the city's off the hook of the grant, then the city has a public parking lot. That's the way that incentive works.
So what you saying is once the city get off the hook by 10 or 15 years down the road, well, we telling people that this parking lot is for public use, then it could be for private use.
It'll be a private parking lot after that.
I had no idea of that. I did not have no idea of that.
It's never been represented as a public parking lot. I've never said that.
I'm telling you what I was told.
It's a public parking lot right now.
I was told that the county was gonna come in and help do whatever we did because this parking lot was gonna be a public parking lot after hours. Once they closed, the public could utilize this parking lot at any time for any event. Now, maybe I dreamed that, but that's what I was told.
We've said that there was a public easement that would be placed over the parking lot and for an incentive that the county and the city participate in as an incentive for them to locate, renovate, and put nearly 200 people in downtown. It was to and do that. And so basically that easement subsides after either 7 or 10 years. I have to go back and look. I don't have it in front of me. And so that is the period in which they have to maintain that. But it is owned by, bought and purchased by Loss Prevention Services. They bought that parking lot and bought that property and they own it. And it's just same thing we did with Great River probably 4 or 5 years ago when we put a laydown yard, helped put down a laydown yard on their property. What you have to do is get a public easement. It's the only way that public dollars can flow on a private piece of property legally is to provide an easement.
Supervisor Gray isn't necessarily complaining about what happened. I think lack of communication is the issue biggest issue he's had, and we're going to correct that for you. Okay? Make sure that you have it in front.
I just want from now on have whatever we vote on in front of me where I can thoroughly read over, where I can get an understanding
Absolutely. You got it.
myself before I even come out voting on anything.
He wasn't necessarily complaining. He just he needs to know what's going on. And
I was out there telling people, when people kept coming to me telling me, well, why y'all working on private property?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, no, this gonna be something for the community where everybody gonna be able to park on this parking lot. That's what I was told.
And that's the way it is right now. But we'll get it clear.
Wait. But see, you say that's the way it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody tell me it's gonna be like this right now, but years later, it's gonna turn back private. Ain't nobody tell me that.
And see,
And that's the problem. So we'll get that.
he is right about that because I was getting those same, questions as while we was on private property doing that parking lot. And that was the information that I had gotten to, that it was gonna be a public, parking lot where anybody could park on.
As it
the
is
street.
now, it
That's
is a
what I was
public,
saying
it
to
is a
people
public
too.
facility as it is
Yeah,
now. That's
so
correct.
we didn't get that information or the paperwork, that it would revert back to
So
loss prevention, so.
the paperwork, it rests, because it's in the city in this instance.
Yeah.
All of that is a city project, and basically they asked the county, because you had the manpower and equipment and the wherewithal to assist with the demolition of the building and the removal of that subgrade or whatever that was down there right now. Concrete or asphalt.
Madam President, I understand,
Yeah.
we ain't got to debate that no more, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
we
if
just-
somebody come down here and say the county gave an illegal donation or whatever the case may be, then I'm gonna be guilty, because I ain't know what I was doing, because they told me one thing and they did something totally different
And you didn't do anything illegal. That's a public parking facility
right now.
right now. And that's when you did the work on it. The legality of it, the issue is communication, and we'll get that fixed. Okay?
All right, let's move on. Anything, do we need to give are we gonna read that?
I'm gonna
Get that
draft it and bring it to you
drafted
at the next board
Yeah.
meeting. So we all know there's clean
There's something
communication.
in
There's nothing wrong with
front of
that, and that's
us.
perfectly fine. We'll get on that.
Okay, sounds good. You have anything else, Chandler?
That's it.
Okay, great. And I just wanted to say, Chandler had brought up some that he did not want to mention. His board, they should be informed with what he did not want to mention, because Chandler and I met with them, I don't know if we met with them or not, met with them back a few months ago. And I did bring it to this board and tell you all about it, so, yeah. So, and if you all wanna know what it is, then I'll mention it and I'll do a determination, if you all wanna be informed of what it is again. An item to be determined. Okay, thank you, Chandler,
All right.
appreciate that. Mr. Fred Parker,
Good morning.
good morning.
Morning.
Good to see everybody. When we had open enrollment last year, there was a company, that came in and at some point in the enrollment process was going to different departments and telling departments, Angie sent us. And, which she did not. And then that little, and she also told, some of the people, if you buy something from me, I'm gonna bring you a purse. Well, the purse, in the meeting recently, I found out, well, she didn't bring the purse. And when I did see one of the purses, basically it's a Chinese knockoff of some fashion design purse, which is probably a Chinese knockoff, which is probably illegal. And it brings to mind that during this enrollment process, there are about, I'd say, 7 to 8 different companies that are going to y'all's employees and trying to sell them something. And Angie and Tab and Payroll and Crystal, who is doing a great job as an aside, they have to deal with every year, and it's not just this year, employees that get in there and they don't know what they're buying. At the end of the day, they see a booth with a television or some incentive in marketing. You call it a loss leader, a bauble sitting up there. You go to their desk, and those guys don't make a penny unless they sell you an insurance policy. So you've got about 7 or 8 people sitting there, and if you total the number of different products that they have to show to each employee, it's probably 50, 60. I don't know. It's confusing. To that end, I'm here this morning to ask the board, there's a company that's, I think it's been before y'all before, called Taylor & Sons. They work and have been working with Magnolia Bluffs on their group voluntary benefits. And
what this company does is they look at the benefits that are offered to the employees now, the composition of the group, and then they look at, okay, you're offering a cancer policy, what's the best cancer policy? And they analyze. They look at disability, okay, what's the best disability, et cetera, et cetera. So this company does that. And we had a little meeting last week, and Kevin Thompson showed us we looked on our iPhones, and we could see where when his company works with your company, an employee at open enrollment can go on their computer or their phone and pull it up, and they see this is what's available. They're not confronted with 50 different policies and decisions, and some salesmen are better than others. So the guy with the worst cancer policy might be a better salesman and sell you a policy that's not as good as the one that's available from a guy or a lady that just can't sell. Another thing, COVID isn't going away. And I think it would behoove the board to possibly look at streamlining this process. We're not getting all the employees down at one spot, potentially exposing yourself. I think going forward, it might be, I really think it's something the board needs to look at, but to do so. And I was talking to Kevin Thompson, they would like to see a census, and of course a census that would not include any personal identifier numbers or anything, socials, anything like that. A list from Crystal of what policies are out there, et cetera, and just take a look at that. But to do so, I would need the board's approval to release the census and for Crystal to let this company look at what policies people are buying, what's being offered. And if we could do that, then they could come up with a proposal and y'all could get a clearer idea of what I'm talking about. I just feel like it's a cleaner way to do things going forward with, and anybody, Lorenzo, Crystal, anybody in human resources and Tab and accounting has had to deal with for years, people having duplicate policies. Here's one of the most, I would say, one of the best things about having this. Over the last few months, people do open enrollment. Then over the next few months, I get a call, Fred, my son's had an accident. We bought an accident policy. From who? I don't know. Well, who do I call? I don't know. So then we have to call Crystal. Crystal, look this person up. Find what accident policy he has. Then tell this person, you need to call Mr. So-and-so. With this model, if Supervisor Gray bought a disability policy and it was best in class from Colonial, and he also had an accident policy that was best in class from Aflac, and you were in a wreck and you needed to file on your accident and your disability, you made one phone call. Everything's done from there. Bookkeeping gets one bill. Tab's not looking at Aflac, Colonial, etc. ad nauseum. What are the negatives? The negative is, and hearing you speak about representative, could happen. Supervisor Gray. If you don't have all the information, it's harder to make a decision. So, what are the negatives? For instance, let's say Brandy has a policy with Aflac, and let's say this company looks at all the cancer policies and they say, well, Aetna has the best cancer policy. But let's say Brandy had just been diagnosed with cancer. Well, they're not going to kick Brandy in, so you need to get rid of your Aflac cancer policy. But anybody that says has an emotional or medical need for wanting to keep a policy, they can do it. They would need to draft it from their personal checking account, which this company helps you do, to set it up. So it's just there's some work involved, definitely, but I propose that with the board's acquiescence that I provide this company with what they need to come up so we can look at it at least. I think going forward and into the future, it would behoove the employees and the payroll and human resources if they looked at this model and considered it. And I'll be quiet.
I understand that there's a lot of people that have multiple policies and they kind of, like you say, duplicating their policies. But I think they kind of misled when they go to these people and they tell them about these policies. Some of them don't even understand what the policy really is. But my thing is, I know, because I've been there before.
Right.
And my thing is, some policies, they'll tell them, like a council policy, this council policy is better than this council policy. So they end up picking up a policy with Aflac, the council policy. Then they'll turn around and pick up another policy with Taylor and Son with disability, because they feel like Aflac don't have the better disability policy that Taylor has.
Right.
And it's more costly with Aflac than it is with Taylor. That's where you see them pick up all these multiple people with different policies.
Right. Now, that's, and the thing about this model that I'm talking about is that this company finds what is the best disability policy, what is the best cancer, and they will explain why they're saying that. And here's another very important thing. When it comes to open enrollment, an employee can look at it on their iPhone, they can pull it up and go, oh, and figure out what they want. They can do it on a computer. And the enrollers that the employees would have to deal with are paid a day rate by Taylor and Sons. They're not commissioned salespersons. So when you walk in that room, the person selling these policies, if they don't sell a policy that day, it doesn't change their life. So there's a lot of reasons to look at it, but again, I didn't just want to willy-nilly go send in a census or asking Crystal to put this information together.
Okay, Supervisor Gaines says.
I just got a question for Scott. Is that legal would that be legal for us to actually, you gonna give all your employees to one specific company? Is that legal for us if we gonna do that? Shouldn't it have to be, if you're gonna do that and it's a public employee, shouldn't you have to have more than one company? That's just my question. I mean, it's a good thing what you're saying, but the legality of it, that you're gonna give one company that, is that gonna put us in any legal trouble? That's what I need to know. I mean, I don't have a problem with what you're doing. It'll make it simple for everybody, but would that be legal for us?
I'll check into it. And I know the board is allowed to have a healthcare plan, which includes these additional plans, which is why companies come to us and ask for permission before they go to our job. They don't show up at the stand on job fair. But I'll look and see what the legal, I'll look and see.
Okay.
That's not ever been asked, so that's something the board's interested in doing.
Madam President, my question is, how much is it gonna cost?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer, and that's why I would like to do this and get a solid answer on that from Taylor and Sons.
Yeah, because my thing is, if all these other people coming to the table and selling their self or their merchandise to our employees and it ain't costing us nothing, then we get Taylor and Company to kind of screen everything out. It's gonna cost a fee and who's gonna pay it?
Right, I understand that.
Right.
And so I will get that number also.
Okay.
And I think it may have to do with the size of the group. etc. But, so I'm just gonna ask for a yea or nay vote. Can I proceed with getting them to get numbers together?
I think Scott needs to check it.
Yeah,
First.
he just asked
Come
for
back,
him to
bro.
find out what's that legal from the first.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back to the table with it.
okay, sounds great. Thank y'all for your time.
All right, thank you, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're gonna deal with departmental reports now. Mr. Bradford. Who's that? Who's that? Okay, 911?
Yes.
Give
Good
me your
morning,
name, state your
everybody.
name. for the record.
Jolanda.
Jolanda?
Yes, Jolanda Grayson.
Grayson, and you with E911?
E911, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I just wanted to let you all know how many calls we had for October.
Okay.
For the police department, we had 1,155. For the sheriff's department, we had 1,009. For the fire department, we had 46 total. Also, we are down 2 dispatchers, so we will be looking for, to hire 2 more people.
Okay. You need.
You have somebody for hired?
They don't have anybody in here, you don't already have them, do you?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
We were just letting you
want to
guys know
advertise
that we were
for two.
down 2, and we are seeking for 2.
Okay.
Have a meeting with the city this afternoon.
Yeah, we do.
About 911.
Or will they be attended? 911 or is this just?
There should be somebody representing them, I think.
For what time?
It's 3 o'clock.
For 3 o'clock. And where is it located?
It's gonna
It's
be
in the city hall.
chamber.
You got city chambers or city hall?
City hall.
City hall? Okay.
Yeah.
The city asked for it, that's
Just
what
make
our
sure
meeting.
Ms. Fells is there.
Okay, well, she's dispatching today, so that's why I came
Okay.
in.
Okay.
But I will let her know at 3 o'clock today.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Mr. Bradford.
Don't be shy.
Oh, that I never asked. I just make sure the ladies there go. Good morning, everybody. How everybody doing this morning? I got a couple things. Everybody know that we asked the board to extend the COVID declaration to the end of this month. So we're gonna go ahead and let that expire. Part of our initial push, once we get over 50% in the community, we go ahead and drop everything, all COVID related matters. So our community has stepped up, they've done that. So I wanted to deliver a promise to them that we would go ahead and end all COVID restrictions. Let it play out at the end of the month, November 31st, December 1st. We'll go back to regular normalcy as far as building capacity and engagements and things that if I want to do any outside events, won't be no restrictions on.
Okay. We don't need a motion for that, do we?
Yeah.
Can I get a motion?
So,
Got a motion by Supervisor Middleton, second by Supervisor Gaines, any discussion?
I'm just gonna, so what we saying, we gonna go back to being normal, right? And in the past, from my understanding, during the winter months, it seemed like that COVID kind of get out of control during these winter months. So we got the numbers in saying that everybody, the majority of our people in the community is good.
well, when we first started, everybody know when we first started COVID, when the vaccination first rolled out, the COVID board, EOC said if we reach 50%, we will roll back. So everybody agreed to that. So that's one of the things when we put the restriction in place. So once we met that deadline, a lot of people are being vaccinated now. Back then, during the winter months, we didn't have nearly many people vaccinated. So most people are on their third shots and they booster shots. So, and our numbers are going down. They're trending down. People, they've been browbeaten enough. You know what I'm saying? They know what to do responsible. So I don't think we need to continue to try to force that on people, which, they understand. They got the gist of it now. So, I'm looking at the numbers. They're going down. People are doing what they need to do. vaccinations are out there. People are getting them slowly but surely. Now they open them up for kids, which is great. So, we want to still give people opportunity to get their vaccination shots and also get back to some type of normalcy.
Go ahead.
I kind of agree and don't agree, but the word force, I thought we was highly recommending that our people do whatever they need to do. It wasn't a mandate, it was highly recommending, right?
Right, even though you recommend, ours still get called, people still can say, I'm recommending this and recommending that.
Okay.
It's just a wording to turn out how you live. I don't think we have to recommend no more because they're grown. Everybody, got it. So that's what I'm saying. Let that expire. We don't, people they got the word. We don't have to keep saying that or keep extending it, through December and out to the next year.
We agree on cowboy stuff, but as far as this, I don't agree with that because as long as COVID around, me personally, we gonna have to continue to let the people know that COVID is still here and it ain't going nowhere, because every time I look at the TV, I'm looking at this football player, he got to sit out because he got COVID. This football player, he got to sit out because he got COVID. And you look up in the stands and you got 70,000 people up in the stands. COVID is still here. And I don't want to send the wrong message to the people. Don't get me wrong, I want to get back to normal too. But somebody told me one time, and I agree, all of us ain't the same. All of our bodies ain't the same. And we got a lot of people in this community that's sick, man. And we do need to get back to normal, but I just don't agree we need to stop wearing masks and all that, man. I know they're doing it all over. Every time I look at the TV, they say we're gonna stop wearing masks. But my health situation may be totally different from the next person's health situation. That's why I'm still wearing a mask up in here. You understand what I'm saying? So once we do this, then everybody stop having masks, and then we go back to normal and having all these indoor events and all this kind of stuff. And I just pray to God that it work out. That's all I have to say. Because we got kids that, as far as I know, they can't get the vaccination, right? Or they don't went all the way down to 4-year-old and up.
Well, I think it's 5.
It's 5.
They done started that?
Yeah, it's 5. Yeah, they've been taking
But you know
shots.
the catch with the kids, they trying to get them gift cards and they trying to find a way to get them to go get the shot. So if they trying to do all that, that means they ain't going to get the shot.
Right, and I agree with that. You got to look at parents make their own choice. But what we're saying is that we don't have to recommend no more nobody, try to require nobody, because my office gets bombarded with this. We have to go out and try to look at social events, determine how many people get in the building. All I'm saying is we have enough people vaccinated in the community to let that just go away. If you want to continue to wear a mask, that's your own individual thing. It should just be required from the board of supervisors to my office at this point.
You're saying individual responsibility
For themselves.
from everybody
Yeah.
responsible for themselves. And then the governor's doing the same thing. He's dropping everything to every state.
But my thing is, we didn't put a requirement on them or a mandate at this time anyway. So it's not a requirement or mandate anyway for anybody to wear a mask. So getting back to normalcy it's been going on anyway, because whoever wants to wear a mask gonna wear a mask, continue to wear a mask, and who does not, will not. So I just wanted to know, would they still be providing the vaccinations at no cost? Because that's what someone asked me, when they drop all this, would they still be providing the vaccination at no cost?
Right, that's what we're transitioning to. We're transitioning from requiring people to wear masks to focus our individual effort on getting vaccinated. So that's why we're doing pop-up vaccinations in communities now. That's what we're transitioning to. So it'll be an individual choice what they want, but we have to provide for them. Same with that entails, and with that being said, without a mandate or declaration, I ask the board also, once we do this, to allow all the things that I've accumulated, masks, hand sanitizer, to still be able to get those out and support that until they're done. We just won't order no more.
That's
We don't have,
Because you'll be giving them out until they're gone.
Right.
But another thing is the incentives, when you mention incentives, that the incentive is for them to get in. And a lot of people don't come unless there is an incentive. So that was a great idea because I know when we did that pop-up vaccination over on Mount Street, the incentive brought a lot of people in because they knew there was an incentive. So
Right.
it does help with the incentives, giving them that incentive.
Madam President, back to the question that the President asked. At the end of the day, cause I got a friend called me, he lives in Texas, and he went and got his booster shot. But when he went to sign up for his booster shot, they asked him about his insurance. So at the end of the day, the question was, are people gonna have to pay to get a shot? If we drop all this, are the people gonna have to pay to go get a shot?
No, a lot of times when they ask for your insurance, I mean, they just get information on you. They're not charging them for the shot. They make the administrative that they're putting out, but they're not actually charging them for the actual vaccination itself. That's been already paid for.
Okay,
So I don't.
that's the only question.
Yeah, we don't need to put that out. Yeah, there should be nobody paying for no vaccination.
Because when I went and got my first two out there, they ain't asked me for no insurance card.
Right, because see, that was a state-ran facility. A lot of these pop up are individual companies that they have been verified through the state, authorized to give these shots in communities. And a lot of that just be for paperwork on to see what kind of insurance you got down the road. But now, if they charge you folks, just tell you people, let me know.
No, that ain't in Mississippi, that was in Texas.
Oh, Texas is different.
That was in Texas, but people need to know
Yeah.
if down the road, eventually they gonna have to pay for this, or is it gonna be free?
No, the government all pays.
They said on the paper. And another thing is, I think when they're asking for the insurance, I don't think the pop-up are the ones that are asking for insurance. I think it's when you go to like Walgreens or CVS and all that, them are the ones who are asking, but the pop.
I just got my third shot from Walgreens, they ain't asked me nothing.
Oh,
I
okay,
just showed them
you
my, card, they ain't asked me
Okay.
for nothing.
Right.
All right, but I know the pop-up ones are not. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Brown?
We got voted.
Oh, we got to carry that.
Yeah, we got here.
Okay, all in favor say aye. All opposed, nay.
I vote nay.
Okay. Ayes have it, motion carried.
Okay. Next thing is with that being said, I know we're looking at a lot of people in the community asking about the safe room, so I want to recommend to the board that we allow the community to use the safe room back starting December 1st.
You heard the request?
So moved.
A motion by Supervisor Wilson,
Second.
second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried unanimously.
That's all I have, Madam President, board, of course.
All right, do anyone have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Bradford.
Thanks.
Mr. Darrell Smith.
Morning.
Come on.
I have a couple things. First, it's getting winter time, it's starting to get cold, and people are lighting their fireplaces and turn on heaters and stuff. So just asking people to just kind of be cautious, make sure on your fireplace that it's clean and all that, and just be careful because we've been having a few little structure fires past few weeks, and we don't want nobody getting hurt. Then we had a couple of injuries burning on some of them, cars. So just asking everybody to be kind of cautious when they turn the heaters on and also light the fireplaces. The AFG grant is open, Assistant Firefighter grant, and we're looking to replace all our air tanks on all fire trucks. And they grant a 5% match, and there's 18 self-contained breathing apparatus that we're trying to get, and the cost $100,800. Like I said, again, it's a 5% match on that AFG grant.
Are you asking to apply for this
Yeah.
grant?
Yeah, cause we got Lynette's going, and we have somebody that's with our volunteer department that helped with grants where it came from. So we can
kind of work on, just make sure that y'all know the cost and the matching on everything.
Okay, what was that cost?
The cost was $100,800. That's
What was the
18,
match?
5%,
5%. Okay.
and that's the assistant to the firefighter grant, AFG.
You heard the request?
Let me ask a question before we do this. Dealing with these grants, this is just my opinion, you correct me if I'm wrong, now kind of administration. Dealing with all this, we just went through the budget. And my thing is this, if anybody needs something, very grants or whatever, and it's a match, then during budget time, we need to know this because we can put it in the budget to kind of like accommodate that match. Now, this is not part of the budget, or is it?
It's not part of the budget.
See, the grants opened up like end of the year, so that's the time of the grants when they come out.
Well, so I'm gonna ask a question. Where will we get this money
It's $5,000.
$5,000.
It's not a lot.
from? It ain't a lot of money? Okay, I thought we was on a tight budget. So moved.
Got a motion by Supervisor Gray. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion?
Yeah, we're on a tight budget, but what you look at is whether 5% or, 5,000 is worth 100,000. We can find a way to make it work.
Like I said, most of the grants, but there's another one, safer grant, it comes out in February, so something like, they all come out in budget time.
Don't get me wrong, Mr. Smith, I want you to have everything you need for your people. Don't get me wrong.
But we're still working on the.
I work with fire department, for 2 terms with the city, so I want you to have everything you need.
All right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried unanimously. Let the record state that Supervisor Kane stepped out.
Yes.
I'm trying to get that money out the interest.
Do you have anything else?
No, the Andy, I get that paperwork from the, I got to collect from the fire department and the city to turn all that, turn all that in at the same time.
Okay.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Darrell.
All right.
Ms. Allen Lair.
The minutes will take a 5% match. It's now 20.
Alright. Back in, I think it was late May or early June, I wasn't at the meeting, but y'all passed a resolution to apply for a wildlife fisheries and parks grant. And I think it was for splash pads at some of the county parks. And I proceeded with that, but a lot of things have gone on since then. We have found out several things. The 4 parks that were mentioned were Pine Mountain Park, Broadmoor, Providence, and LaGrange. And the engineer found out, doing some research, that only 1 or 2 of these parks, the county actually owned all of the park. So Scott proceeded with, at LaGrange, we knew actually owned the park, and Scott got them to sign over a deed or deeded over to the county. Then in the meantime, I found out that we couldn't apply for splash pads at 4 different parks. It could only be 1 park, one project at one specific park. So, and corresponding with Angela, and correct me if I'm wrong, Angela, so we concentrated on LaGrange for a splash pad. And IMS did the budget for it initially. And it was a 50% match, which y'all agreed to back in, I think it was May. But anyway, the original cost for the splash pad was $148,500, and then the match, of course, would have been $74,250. Well, since then, I've had a lot of correspondence back and forth. We submitted the application, and I'll be honest, to my surprise, it appears Wildlife Fisheries and Parks is interested in funding a splash pad at LaGrange. But they've been asking for additional information over the last few months. He's gonna make a recommendation. What he does, he reviews all the applications through the state, and now he's preparing himself to make the recommendations at the federal level. Okay, so he's been asking me for a lot of additional information from the engineer, and this and that, and some more deed clarification. Well, in the process of doing that, the engineers had to revamp his budget, and the budget is now ballooned to $340,740, which would leave Adams County's match at roughly $170,000. So, in talking with Wildlife Fisheries and Parks, they want me to come back to the board and just verify that everybody's on board with this and have that in minutes for his.
Let me say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
That has, when you say really bloomed, it has really bloomed $100,000 more. So I feel like maybe not. I could take $100,000 of that $74,000 and redo the whole park for that.
Right.
You know, which is needed. Equipment is needed out there really bad. So I don't know if we want to go and spend another $100,000 on a splash pad.
That's why I'm here today, just to get some input here.
When do you get a deadline on it?
Well, he wants to make wanted to make his recommendation last week, but apparently we're not the only project holding it up,
So we gotta make it.
I told him the meeting wasn't until Monday, so yeah, he needs to know this week.
Or
I didn't hit the lottery, I just said we don't have any extra time, I'm just saying we don't even go and turn it down, just turn it down.
You know, it's out of LaGrange, so I like to turn it down because like I say, I got $100,000 more.
Yeah.
That's, like I say, they need new equipment out there before they need a splash pad.
Well, hopefully, if y'all want to not proceed with this grant application will come up due again all at the same time. That is a mistake. It's not funded, but yeah, it probably made it like early June.
In June of next year.
But just keep in mind this time, I thought we could apply for equipment from various locations. You cannot. It has to be specific, so just keep that in mind.
Well, if you were saying $100,000 for all the parks, maybe we would have been okay, but for one park, that's kind of tight, man.
I understand.
Do we need to vote on this? We just turn it down.
You don't need any action from us, just tell them we couldn't approve it.
That's fine.
That's fine? Okay.
Yep, I can do that. I guess without being the minutes that y'all aren't approving this,
You need.
yeah, I would say go ahead and put that in the minutes in case he asks for some action. Sorry.
Make some action on it,
Yeah, just.
Can I get a motion? Got a motion by Supervisor Middleton, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. Ayes have it, motion carried unanimously. Let the record show that Supervisor Wilson stepped out.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay,
They're here, I think they're here, Chair.
We can go ahead.
okay,
I just want to do one thing, and then I can sit back down and come back.
okay, go ahead, Sheriff.
If they're here.
Yeah, they're here, I see some in the back.
Sheriff, you and Stephen, come on in.
Alright.
Come on up here, I'm gonna come. Come on in, Sheriff. And investigator, come on in, Blake, come on, you guys. I tell you, boy, I appreciate you all giving me a minute to do this. Y'all come on, come on. The reason why I asked for Sheriff David Hitton and Investigator Lipscomb and Blake, who you see also has on Adams County Sheriff's Office, he worked over in Newport. The reason why, but he also has a premier search and rescue team. Now, as you all know, recently in Morgantown, there was human remains found. Yeah. But the reason, what you all don't know is how that came about. I'm not gonna get into too many details on it, but the police department was working, Sheriff officer was helping with searches, but after meeting with Concordia Parish Sheriff's Office, more information came about that we weren't privy to at first. And because of that information that came about, we were able to do everything that you've seen after that information. Now, we are still working with the Nashville Police Department on this case and moving forward to the trial and to wrap things up. But I want to honor these guys because if it wasn't for what they did across that river in a whole nother state, for the community of Adams County over here as a whole, we wouldn't be able to bring that family closure the way it did. And I thought that deserved to be recognized. So what I did here is I got a couple letters and they all pretty much say the same thing. So I'm gonna read this one here. It says, letter of recognition. In recognition of your continued efforts and important contributions to the Adams County Sheriff's Office, we would like to recognize Sheriff David Hedrick of Concordia Parish Sheriff's Office, Stephen Lipson of Concordia Parish Sheriff's Office, and Blake Matthews, CEO of Premier Search and Rescue, for all the hours of assisting in multiple investigations, one of which led to the arrest and prosecution of a murder suspect. The Adams County Sheriff's Office is grateful for the resources and knowledge that you've shared over the last 6 months. No matter the day or the week or the time, you have answered all the calls for assistance. So I want Sheriff Hedrick, I want Sheriff Hedrick to be presented this.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
We'll always be there. Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh.
Yeah.
Steve, thank you. And Blake. And the reason why I'm doing this is because Sheriff Hedrick pretty much allowed Investigator Lipscomb to work with us for a very long time. He didn't cry about overtime. He didn't cry about him pulling away from cases. I mean, we have really utilized him heavily on this case. And the other thing that you don't know is that I went over there for a demo to a system that they had. And it blew me away at what that system could do. I didn't come to the board and ask for it, even though it's on the way. even though it's on the way. And I'm gonna tell you why I didn't ask for the board. Stephen put me in touch with a grant that didn't require a match, didn't require anything. All they required was, are we working ICAT teams and certain things? And I told them yes. Talked to the man. 2 hours later, we got $30,000 worth of equipment coming to the sheriff's office that don't require a dime of Adams County. And that's huge because with the forensics that we can do, I'm just gonna say on electronic devices now and what they've been doing across the river for their state and ours. These guys have not only been working for Concordia, they've been working for the entire state of Louisiana with what they have right across that river. And of course, my bells went off when I seen this. I'm like, oh my God, this is like forensics on steroids when it comes to electronics. And I don't want to give it away, but we're able to get that in Adams County, at least some of it in Adams County now. And it's all because of this. And I got to say that every time I call Sheriff Hedrick for help, the answer has never been no. It's always been where you need it. So I wanted you to know I appreciate you today.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you today. And Blake, when I called him as well, I got to talk about some Premier Search and Rescue as well for a minute. I called these guys when I was coming out of the sheriff's office across the river because I just couldn't believe what I had just seen. And so I asked him to get some canines together, whatever he can, to come up and help. And Blake went through his Premier Search and Rescue company, and the next morning we had canine cadaver dogs here from the coast, ready to go out there, whole team of people. And when they hit that wood line, it wasn't long before everything had been found. So it was truly a group effort with what happened. And I think these guys deserve to be recognized, and that's why we're doing this today.
I just want the board and the city of Natchez, and of course you, Sheriff, anything we can ever do for y'all to further our relationship and be a part of y'all's team, never hesitate to call us. We're always going to be there for you, no matter what.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, let me say this.
Thank you, sir.
Not only from the sheriff, but on behalf of this board, we thank you all for all the help that you have given Adams County and have helped the sheriff with. you know, when you all helping the sheriff, you all helping us. Because they ask us about crime all the time. So when crime is solved, you know, you all are helping us also. So we appreciate everything that you all have done for this county also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, let me say something. You know, over these past 6 terms, I've been going to all kind of conferences, and people say, well, why you always want to go to conference? I always get something from somebody else and bring back to this community. We don't know everything, we don't have everything, but when you go network with other people in other places, they have different ideas, different equipment, different everything, just like NOLA, Sheriff.
You're right.
I mean, we ain't know nothing about NOLA. So, like the president say, thank y'all, and we want to continue this relationship forever.
These guys got us a state-of-the-art computer system lab, a whole nother lab that we hadn't even thought about getting. And it was all because I went across the river, because the sheriff allowed me to take a demo with Steven over there and see what they had to offer. And it blew my mind. And the fact that I know the state police come down to these guys for help right here in this Mississippi community. So that's big for us to be working together. And I want to recognize them again because the sheriff's office and Natchez Police Department, we're supposed to be doing that. This is our area, period. So we're still working together too as well. These guys come from another state. You know, it's right across the river. There's still another state, completely different jurisdiction, and allow as much time. You guys don't know the amount of hours we put in on this thing after the fact too as well that went in. And so it's very important to acknowledge that working relationship. And that's all I want to do today. So thank you all.
Supervisor James would like to say something also.
And I'm just probably, Sheriff probably know what I'm finna say anyway. And you know, it's like a vision come true. You know, when I came in to be a supervisor, one of my main things was communication. So if you ever want to see a breach in a problem, it's a lack of communication. You ever want a problem solved, then you'll see some great communication. And I appreciate the communication that y'all are working, and hope we can continue to strengthen our relationships, because I really see some growing in this Mississippi area because of working relationships, and I appreciate it to the highest. Thank you.
Supervisor Middleton.
Yeah, I would just like to say, I've said it since day one, and the river divides us, but we're one community.
Yeah.
And seeing everybody work together is just tremendous in our effort to grow and make Natchez, Adams County, and Concordia Parish a safer and better place to live. So thank y'all for everything.
Supervisor Wilson.
Yeah, I just appreciate y'all, and that's huge what y'all did for us. And thank you for getting the sheriff a grant, helping him get grants. We didn't have to try to more money.
If I call him, he comes to me too.
Yeah.
So
That's
came over
right. Sheriff Hedrick, just listen, all y'all, thank y'all so much for everything you do. And I mentioned them in the back about they're helping out with that Noah's Ark investigation over there. And my grandson was one of the victims of that. And thank y'all.
Yes.
All right.
Appreciate you all. Appreciate you. Yeah. It's late.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all for that time.
Thank you, Sheriff, also for recognizing them.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate that. Okay. Mr. Brand, with the AKS.
Yes.
Good job. Good job.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I have a couple of questions on some previous projects. Did we ever figure out what we're gonna do on McGee Road on that? Were they canceling that, or what was?
McGee Road, the bridge.
Yeah.
Didn't.
Yeah, he reappropriated funds. That was gonna do. Is that correct?
I wrote the letter.
He drew the letter to reappropriate funds.
Yeah, I think where we're at on that, Supervisor Gaines, I think we talked about deprogramming it, but our engineer was gonna bring us a list of additional products to move the money over towards.
And they did.
I think that's where we're at. So y'all
Yeah.
Before we can deprogram, we need to do another project.
I think he brought up
He
some
brought
bridges.
some last, but we
Brought
had
up a
to
couple of bridges,
probably
but,
take care when he do
yeah.
that. Yeah, he gave us 3 different, avenues.
Mhm.
And let's see, the ERBR STPBR 25 is Hutchins Landing Road project. It was completed approximately a year ago, and maintenance is coming up on that, and we're recommend just finaling the project out there, and I guess I would need Robbie to go and look at it.
The supervisor and Robbie need to go and make sure the project's good.
But that's that. I just wanted to mention that on there, and then we'll go for Bondrell out there. The project's held up with Majorca Road. The project's held up for they're wanting an environmental on that. When we started this, it was a maintenance project, and they said we weren't going to be able. We didn't need to do environmental, but now they're coming back and saying we are. We do not want to. We weren't going to send anything in on the archives and history side of that. But I guess my question would be if we could maybe there was a dirt pit there used, and I think, Robbie, did y'all get some clearance on that from archives and history?
You know, Mr. Marlowe helped us do
Is
that.
there, could we get some of that correspondence or anything there just attached to the EV 160?
Okay, well, Mr. Marlowe helped us do it. We made the dirt pit. I mean, started getting the dirt. Mr. Marlowe did help us, so he should have what information they may need.
Well, he was asking me to ask the board on this, because I don't guess we do have any of the answers back or anything on that. I mean, I can go back and double check with him, but that's what he was hoping that we had something there on that. And that would be what was holding that project up as far as the environmental clearance on that. And let's see, we've got group 1 that we have completed. Camo has completed the Johnson Circle site, and we're still working on the other 2, the Pine View Cemetery site. I'd say Pine View probably 30%, and cemetery 50%, somewhere around there.
Pine View's almost done. They're putting the mat down today.
I thought it was, that's what I said.
Yeah, great. Everything's done but the mats. And they're putting them down today. So once those mats are down, it'll be.
Alright. And group 2 and group 3, we're advertising and receiving bids on December 20th.
I just got the right of ways, legal descriptions for 1 of group 3. So you're gonna get the other 2?
Yes.
When is that?
December 20th.
So y'all rebid the group 1? I mean group 2?
Gotta rebid group 2.
Yeah, rebid. We took a bunch of items out, redesigned.
We ain't never got anything saying the bids have been rejected.
I can send you something there. I thought we talked about that we were.
I ain't heard a word. I mean, the only conversation I had was Scott. And that's been some time back.
Yeah, you and I talked, I said, I probably think we're gonna have to rebid it, but I would have assumed that they would have reached out and talked to you.
Oh, we ain't got nothing.
Okay, you'll get them something saying the bid's been rejected.
Yes.
So we pretty much skipping over 2 and going to 3.
No, I think maybe
We're
maybe
good.
you do.
We're bidding 2 and bidding 3.
You all both
December
set of
20th.
bids on the 20th is what you
Yes.
said.
Yes.
20th of December?
December.
Yeah. And on Brookview and Main, well, Brookview's finished, Main has, came over his asked for a final on that, and I'm working on getting a final done on that.
Has been inspected, Robert?
No.
Okay, okay, we need
Yeah,
to get
that's
it inspected too.
I know Camo's reached out by email, won't have a file, but I hadn't got a date on it.
I was talking to Norman about that, and waiting, he's,
I mean, can we,
he's the hardest one to,
can we get it done like in a timely fashion?
when Norman lets me, when he tells me when he can, he's the one that kind of, the schedule in there, when I find out, and I talked to him on Friday, and I've got to call him this afternoon.
Madam President,
Okay, Supervisor.
Greg,
Yes.
is it any kind of way that, the communication between you and Camo could get a little bit better? Because, we've been talking to Camo and the communication needs to be a little bit better. Because they shouldn't have to be coming to us about stuff when y'all got all the answers to the test. Y'all need to be communicating with Camo.
Okay.
I try to communicate.
I understand, that's
I
what I'm
reached out
saying,
to
what
them
I'm
blue in
saying.
the face. I'm still waiting on, I'll call you in 30 minutes, phone call for Friday. I just got it this morning when I'm sitting in here. I just simply admit this with y'all. I've had all I can take. That's just like this bid that's been rejected. What y'all don't understand, that's held up $1 million in my bonding capacity. That I could be bidding on other work if we're not gonna do the project. I'm just now finding out, that we're not gonna, that it's being rebid. It ain't been rejected yet. Board has to take action on if it's gonna be accepted or rejected.
I'm
That's
trying
right,
to
we
get
rejected it
the
a couple meetings ago.
And I discussed.
I know, I'm not getting on, I'm just saying, I mean,
It should
lack
have
of
been
communication, so.
Yeah. It should
Well,
have
I mean,
been.
I discussed it, I didn't do anything official, but I did tell them, but nothing official or in writing.
I haven't been told anything.
Mr. Greg.
Did you hear anything?
Mr.
I ain't
Greg,
heard nothing.
the only thing I'm saying, keep everything on the up and up. Why don't we just try to communicate with emails?
Mr. Gray.
I ain't talking about y'all.
Yeah.
I'm talking about,
I've done all I can do.
you come tell us that all the time. I'm just saying,
It's not gonna happen.
if we're gonna communicate, could you communicate with emails and he respond back with an email, then we ain't got to worry about, well, I talked to him and I talked to him and all this kind of stuff, because the email will show that. And if you don't send an email, then.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I think we're speaking to the wrong person. I mean, honestly, I say that. I mean, me and Scott's been there and we've talked to Hayden, we've talked to Hayden, but his plate's full. I mean, guys, I understand, I mean, I know where we at with it, but this man here, his plate is overloaded. He's got projects, and I know he probably should have got with them, but I think if there again, if the board would give us permission, if we're gonna continue doing and finishing up what we're doing, we need to get on a better schedule, whatever we're on with Hayden and maybe talk to him. I hate to say that, but I hate for this man to sit in here and take all the rap and, get his black eye.
Oh, we not blaming
I know, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think we need to
And I don't have a problem with Brant.
Yeah.
I mean, but, all right, Brant, just like this change order, how long have we been, I've been begging. I've been getting on my knees and begging to get this done. That's why I was reaching out to you Friday, because I know there's gonna be a board meeting today, so we could get a pay estimate in. Do we have a pay estimate to turn in for it?
Well, there's a lot this guy can't get that.
No, I gotta wait 2 more months.
True.
We need to get Aiden in here right
Yeah.
now, so he's swift.
Yeah,
You know.
we'll get them in next meeting,
I just,
whatever.
you know, I would think
All right.
make everything go.
Part of this change order is part of the agreement that I made in that room that day, and then I honored it. Part of this is the numbers that's on the dirt that's all inclusive in that LBM, final measure embankment, whatever we wanna call it, that was all part of that. And now we're still arguing.
2.5, 3 months ago, you're talking about?
Yes, I'm still arguing over it. And like I told y'all, the last time I was here, I said, board, I'm not taking no more hickeys, and I mean it.
We understand, we'll get things straight, we'll get Peyton in here next time, man.
The dirt measurement final estimates were different than the final measurements. And so there's a difference in cost, because when you do these contracts, it's based on how much dirt is used. So that's what gotta be more money than what we estimated. And we don't have any place to go to with NRCS. We've gotten money, an agreement for the city for a portion of some money as well. So, but at the end of the day, the county's gonna have to come in and pay the difference of it, and we need to figure out what
At
that
the
is.
end of the day, what needs to happen, everybody needs to be held accountable. And if everybody that's in this is not being held accountable, they all got bonds, so man, hey, man, let's just be fair, man. Let's just call them in here, and if they can't keep their end of the bargain, then maybe we need to do something else.
The problem with these projects is they are basically, you got an estimate, and then they agree that they're gonna do it at this cost per unit. So if your measurements are wrong, you have to end up paying more. But what the other side argues is you would have to have paid more had their estimates been right. And that's the issue that you run into with these unit pricing situation that we're in. That's why I wish we had a fixed price, here's how much you have to do it for, and move on. But that's just not the way we can do it. And I asked the IMS if we could do that at the last meeting, and he's like, no, that's not the way you can do it. But that's we get into these 5 years ago when we initially applied for them, this is what it looked like, and then at the end of the project, that's what it ends up being. The costs escalate on us on all these things, and that's
You're a good man, Scott, for explaining that to us, man. I did this for 16 years with the city. We ain't never had these problems. So you good. You can try to sugarcoat it, but at the end of the day, everybody gotta be held accountable. So we gotta do what we gotta do.
Let me ask this question. I know you're getting the advertising for it December the 20th.
Yes.
I know you got an extension.
Yes.
Are you gonna meet that deadline?
No, we'll have to
Nope.
extend that.
You're gonna have to get another extension.
So,
There again.
is Scott gonna have to write a letter to Jordan Tyler in session and ask him to come to the next board meeting with a complete update on everything that they're doing for the county? And is that what we need to do?
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah, if you want to see it. Okay. Anything else? That's all you have? Yeah, Robbie?
No, like I said, I just think, and I said it before, we all got somebody we got to answer to.
Yeah.
And I think he takes a lot, and he's got a lot on his plate, but we need to talk to who he answers to.
That's right.
And be through it.
That's why we don't try to go at him like that.
Yeah, I understand.
But we understand what's going on.
Is Scott gonna have to write a letter to Jordan Tyler in session and ask him to come to the next board meeting with a complete update on everything that they're doing for the county?
Yes,
For my report?
Is that all, is that what we need to do?
Okay, yeah, for your, anything else?
Thank you.
That's all you have here. Robbie?
No, like I said, I just think.
All right.
All right. And I said it before, we all got somebody we got to answer to.
Let's hope.
And I think he takes a lot.
Thank you for your continued patience that I know you're running out of.
These gray hairs.
That's why we don't try to go in the
Y'all have a great day.
We understand what's going on.
Come on, come on.
Is Scott and I have to write
First
a
thing I
letter
have,
to Jordan Collins session and ask him to come to the next board
Three
meeting
breaches
with a complete update on
JKS from last
everything
year.
that's doing with the county.
been closed down, that we have to.
Is that what we need to do?
Yeah, we're gonna do
Get
that.
them to them today, where they get up to the state, so those two are open.
Anything else?
I have one
I'm sorry,
Brian
Paul.
had, no, I said, I
It's all right.
Thank you.
All right.
Let's try to get it right.
Let's hope.
Thank you for your continued patience. Yeah, I know you're running out of it.
Nah, these gray hairs ain't gonna get rid of
Y'all
Y'all have a great day.
First thing I have is LA Bottoms at, broke three breaches, both with, JKS from last year, Mr. Ford, been closed down, the recommendation back to, get the picture of the East Road. Today, public road is a private road, two are open. So he'll have on what I met, Mr. Wilson, what he needed today to give the residents.
It's all right.
All right. Let's try to get it right. What's the name of that road?
Let's hope.
LAP.
Thank you for your continued patience. Yeah, I know you're running out of it.
Nah, these gray hairs ain't gonna get rid of Y'all have a great day.
There's some things that need to be done.
First thing I have,
The road where we can
is
do
out
that.
the bottom,
And they,
at,
IMS is giving us a list.
three breaches with, JKS from last year.
And they also need the as-built,
Been closed down.
that nobody ever got the as-built
Back up.
for that, boat parade.
Today, where they get up to the state, so that.
Was JKS at it?
I have one. Mr.
The as-built,
What he needed today.
when they were building it out, JKS, didn't they do that? You know, Brian?
I know we did some of most, or maybe all, but I checked.
That's just that little short road at the kind of tees down there at the end of the boat parade. I mean, I think it's a concrete road. There's some things that need to be done to improve the road where we can do that.
15,
And
13, Pineview Drive.
see, take care of.
We have a cross.
And they also need the as-built, because nobody ever got the as-built for that, boat parade.
Dawson Erosion.
JKS.
Homeowner have signature, Mr. Wilson, what he needed today to give us that resolution to get the road up to standards. Like the county that, take.
What's the name of that road?
Go into LAPNs, LAPINS.
So moved.
We got a motion by Supervisor.
That's just that little short road at
Second by
the
Supervisor
kind of
Haynes.
tees
Any discussion?
down there at the end of the boat
All in
parade.
favor, say aye.
Y'all think it's a concrete road.
The ayes have it, motion carried unanimously.
Other thing I have is in Pineview, it's 15, 13 Pineview Drive, we have the same issue, you have a cross pipe running on the road property between two residents, property, circle the pipe, pipe never catching that loud, tossing the road about it. He is not having no slow homeowners signature.
But I guess he mentioned when he was in the bottom, and Adam's bottom, because he did call me back. He had old number on you, a 660 number, and I gave him your
That's just that little short
county
road.
number.
Kind
And
of
I thought he had been, because he had reached back out to me several times
Y'all think it's a
trying to
concrete road.
catch you, but I told him you was probably in Adam's bottom and wasn't getting the service.
Other thing I
So
have,
he is kind of getting in touch with Robert Hayden. Scott, is it okay that he can come out your
you have
office
a
and
cross
what you
pipe
need?
running on the road that runs between two residents' property, comes the pipe, the pipe is rusted out, allowed tossing erosion. I have, you gonna get him to come out, Scott, signature.
Well, I'll make a contact with him and tell him that he can go by Scott's if he can't catch you. I was trying to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to catch first, it'll be fine.
Is that a drainage problem?
Yes, it's a.
That's just that little short road at the kind of tees
It's about the same thing.
down there at the end of the boat parade.
Same thing.
Y'all think it's a
That's all
concrete.
I have, unless y'all have anything.
So
Y'all have any questions?
on that project right there, I told him you was probably in Alabama when
I had no service there.
So he is trying to get in touch.
Okay, well, I just said I don't know how to work with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Sure.
Yeah, pending that's what's
Unfortunately, on that one, I'm sorry, man, you got.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott.
I'll make a contract with him and tell him that he can't go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all. So if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for
It's about the same thing, what we fixed to a 5 years.
same thing. I told him you was probably in Alabama when
I had no service there.
So he is trying to get in
Okay,
touch.
well, I just said I don't know how to work with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
We submit the CAD file for the survey.
That's what's trying to flip on it, right?
And the adjacent softball field, to the architect for their review.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott get him to
I'll
call me
make
or
a
I can call
contract with him
him.
and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, what we fixed to a 5 years.
same thing.
So that's that one.
I told him you was probably in Alabama when
I had no service there.
So he is trying to get in
Okay,
touch.
well, I just said I don't know how to work with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Anything else needed before we request advertisement?
That's what's coming flip on it, right?
So, we're gonna request the board authorization to advertise this project contingent.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott get him to
I'll
call me
make
or
a
I can call
contract
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, what we fixed to a 5 years.
same thing.
Ayes have it, motion carried unanimously.
I told him you was probably in Alabama
I
when
had no service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch.
just said I don't know how to work with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
For the striping only project.
That's what's coming flip on it, right?
They on Friday, said they agreed to plans and they want to schedule a field.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott get him to
I'll
call me
make
or
a
I can call
contract
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kids first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, what we fixed to a 5 years.
same thing. I told him you was probably in Alabama when
I had no service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch.
just said I don't know how to work with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Excuse me,
That's what's coming flip on it, right?
not again, what you just said. Could you repeat what you just said?
Okay, sure.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott
But
get him to
I'll
call
make
me
a
or I can call
contract with him
him.
and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kids first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, what we fixed to a 5 years.
same thing.
As far as work was concerned, during that conversation.
I told him you was probably in Alabama
I
when
had no service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch.
just said I don't know how to work with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
To move forward with that project. So we have.
That's what's kind of flip on it, right?
Support the county.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott get him to call
I'll
me
make
or
a
I can call
contract
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine.
On one side, more.
Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, what we fixed to a 5 years.
same thing.
You heard the request?
I told him you was probably in Alabama
I
when
had no service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch.
just said I don't know how to work with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Last time was Group Board, BWP, all
That's
services.
what's kind of flip on it, right?
Hopefully have the preliminary drawings by the end of the month. I know that one.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott,
But
get him to
I'll
call me
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kill first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, over if it's good pipe.
same thing.
Any question from the
I told him you was probably in Alabama
I
when
had some service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch
just said I didn't know how to spoke with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need? Or? That's Mr. Thomas Cliff on that project remote.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott,
But
get him to
I'll
call me
make a
or I can
contact
call him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, over if it's good pipe.
same thing.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Good, you.
I told him you was probably in Alabama
I
when
had some service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch.
just said I didn't know how to spoke with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
If you want to be cleared up.
That's Mr. Thomas Cliff.
Was looking at the maintenance part of it to see whether they want to go with it or not. And
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to
I'll
call me
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all,
so that's
so
why I have.
if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, over if it's good pipe.
same thing.
Okay, Mr. Carnahan.
I told him you was probably in Alabama
I
when
had some service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch.
just said I didn't know how to spoke with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
And, can y'all hear me well?
We can.
That's Mr. Thomas Cliff.
But, I guess I would more than anything, I probably just want to start out with,
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to call
I'll
me
make
or
a
I can
contact
call him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine.
I do have a few videos that I'll share with,
It's an issue that's good for,
about
It's
it,
about
where we all
the
can
same
get
thing,
through
over if it's
too many
good pipe.
videos. We can have real time, kind of understanding of how the maintenance program
I told him
works.
you was probably in Alabama when
I had some service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch.
just said I didn't know how to spoke with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Along with some expert oversight to verify that the right repair is being done at the right time, at the right price.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to call
I'll
me
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine.
Make sure you all aren't getting
Yes,
charged
it's
with
an issue that's good for,
making sure that, you're over servicing your vehicles. And ultimately, it just keeps you all within the terms of your
I told him
warranty
you
on
was
your
probably in
vehicle.
Alabama
So they want
when
to be,
Some service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I just said I didn't know how to spoke with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
As far as the integrity of your fleet.
That's Mr.
Now, what that
Thomas
looks like, your drivers, they'll all get, on our app, we have, maintenance cards.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to call
I'll
me
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine.
Our systems are
Yes,
connected, they'll contact
it's
our
an issue that's good
technician. They'll review what type of repair that they're trying to do, whether it's oil change, all the way up to.
I told him you was probably in Alabama
I
when
had some service there.
so he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch.
just said I didn't know how to spoke with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what
And
you
then from there,
need?
they'll approve it, your driver's on out their way, nothing really takes under any kind of an address on their card. But then on the back end, we're able to filter in the information.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott,
Your deal being serviced.
I'll make a contact with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine.
Understanding which
Yes,
outliers may have.
This addition is good for,
A lot of organizations will lump things all in one category. It's kind of hard to just really determine, which field.
I told him you was probably in Alabama when he was there. So he is trying to get in touch with Robert. Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
To you all, from there.
That's
And so with you all being a government agency, you are part of.
You gonna get him to go by Scott?
I'll make a contact with him and tell him that if you didn't go by Scott, that he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all. So if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine.
Particular program. And,
Yes, it's a addition is good for,
you have to keep up with the report, monitor, any, invoices or even track.
I told him you was probably in Alabama when he was there. So he is trying to get in touch with Robert. Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Sure.
That's
Another mouthful on, just really kind of wanted to go through the entire,
You gonna get him to go by Scott, and then Scott,
Are there any
I'll make
ways
a
that
contact with him and tell him that if he didn't go by Scott, that he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all. So if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for, a good
it's
one.
about the same thing.
Who does the repair?
Same thing.
So we have a,
I told him you was probably in Alabama when he was there. So he is trying to get in touch with Robert. Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Got a list of them, just something, a lot of fire zones, language, loops, sensor, natchez, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, offers, tire sales.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's, and then Scott, get him
I'll make a contact with him and tell him that if he didn't go by Scott, that he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all. So if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
We make sure that they have, they get connected to our net, our system.
I told him he was probably in Alabama when he was there. So he is trying to get in touch
I just said, I
Robert.
didn't know.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
You probably just recommend that you're trying to
That's
go those places.
Okay, thank you.
They already utilize our software we have.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's, and then Scott, get him to
I'll
call me,
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that if he didn't go by Scott, that he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all. So if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine.
Is that on the existing fleet?
Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, it's good time.
same thing. I told him you was probably in Alabama when he was there. So he is trying to get in touch
I just said, I
Robert.
didn't know.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
The organization we partnered with
That's
in
what's kind of
2020, we
different.
saved over $40 billion on just bulk sales, and it's just as a company.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's, and then Scott,
I'll make a contact with him and tell him that if he didn't go by Scott, that he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all. So if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine.
It's just some different items that.
Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
it's about the
What
same
is,
thing, it's good time.
what you pay up front, it'll return itself.
I told him you was probably in Alabama when he was there. So he is trying to get in
Okay,
touch
I just said, I
Robert.
didn't know, spoke with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
And we get back with you.
Okay, thank you all, and if I have any additional questions, if the sheriff has to get them to me, and I'm happy to answer those however I can.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's, and then Scott, get him to
I'll
call me,
make a
or I can
contact
call
with
him.
him and tell him that if he didn't go by Scott, that he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all. So if you don't want to kid first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, it's good time.
same thing.
Look at that program.
I told him you was probably in Alabama when he
Had
was
some
there.
service there.
So he is trying to get in
Okay, I
touch.
just said, I didn't know,
Robert.
I spoke with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Sure.
Good morning.
That's Mr. Thomas Smith on it. Right, good morning.
The sheriff department
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to call
I'll
me
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so whichever one he can first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for, a
It's
good
about
while.
the same thing, what we fixed to find.
Same thing.
Washing,
I told him you was probably in Alabama when
I had no service there.
So he is trying to get in touch.
Okay, well, I just said I
Robert,
go ahead and vote with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Sure. You know about the
That's Mr. Thomas Smith on it, probably remote.
So, in researching, I ran across.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to call
I'll
me
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so whichever one he can first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for, a good
It's
while.
about the same thing, what we fixed to find.
Same thing.
I found out that there's a Dr. Frank Clarksville.
I told him you was probably in Alabama when
I had no service there.
So he is trying to get in
Okay,
touch
well, I
with
just said I go ahead and vote with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Sure. So,
That's Mr. Thomas Smith on it, probably remote.
Carter Johnson and myself, we came across and we organized.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to
I'll
call me
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so whichever one he can first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for, a good
It's
while.
about the same thing, what we fixed to find.
Same thing. I told him you was probably in Alabama when
I had no service there.
So he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch
just said I go ahead and vote with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
0 to 5 years of age.
That's Mr. Thomas Smith on it, probably remote.
Hearing products. To any citizen, daycare, nursery.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to
I'll
call me
make a
or I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so whichever one he can first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for, a
It's
good while.
about the same thing, what we fixed to find.
Same thing.
There's a maintenance.
I told him you was probably in Alabama when
I had no service there.
So he is trying to get in
Okay,
touch
well, I
with
just said I go ahead and vote with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Sure.
That's Mr. Thomas Smith on it, probably remote.
See if we can get any type of assistance. I have a letter of representation.
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to
I'll
call me
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try to tell him to get in touch with both of y'all, so whichever one he can first, it'll be fine. Yes, it's an issue that's good for,
It's about the same thing, what we fixed to find.
same thing.
Involved in picking up these on.
I told him you was probably in Alabama when
I had no service there.
So he is trying to get in
Okay, well, I
touch.
just said I go ahead and vote with him.
Scott, is it okay that he can come out your office and sign what you need?
Sure. And our goal is,
That's
we
Mr.
ready
Thomas
to
Smith
people
on it,
who
probably
can make
remote.
decisions. Do I give these briefs or not?
You gonna get him to go by Scott's and then Scott, get him to
I'll
call me
make
or
a
I can call
contact
him.
with him and tell him that he can go by Scott if he can't catch you. I will try.
And we wanna, and I need to leave some of this
You said you was gonna be dropping these.
to help anybody, and it's open to anybody in the Southwest region.
Any
Any individual, so anybody, there's no economic age involved in picking up, trying to own this, we can acquire, so forth. Every lot of form, we can do your name, address, telephone numbers, just for our record.
So can you
And
tell
what
me,
you people,
what are you
we'll supply whatever it is that they need. Once
Our-
mine, and our goal, really, I would like, we ran into people who had to make a decision. The maintenance, it's $3 from the doctor.
I'll have to look in to see if we can do that.
Yeah.
We can participate into it.
Yeah, so if not,
We can't give donations without specific.
I will try to tell him to get.
I understand, that's why I said we have some of this
other
kids.
said you was gonna be dropping these items off at facilities and stuff like that. What about residents? Can you
Because we
address
are
any
any individual, once we get anybody, it's no, they wanna open up our laws and business, the only thing we require It's fill out the form, give the formula, white, address, telephone numbers, just for our records with the sheriff, what you're picking up. We'll dive into whatever it is that they need once a month. And hopefully we'll get, and our goal is, we ran into people who had to make a decision, do I, it's $300 for that.
Have you thought about?
I'll look in to see if we can do that.
also-
We
Yeah,
can participate into that.
Yeah, so if not.
We can't give donations without specific legislative authority.
With the diapers.
I understand, that's why I said we have a list of other things. We just want
Parents that have their kids in the,
You mean as far as helping them to get the diapers or them helping us?
you'll be providing these diapers to them.
Any individual, we don't solicit anybody, it's no economics involved, right, they have to express their need. So it's open to anybody, once it's announced that they come in, there's no phone numbers, we need whatever number, we'll know what you order the diapers to, or we'll supply. I think they told us Department of Human Services, and our goal is, we ran into people who had to make a decision in the deal, so now they will, it's $300. But it's open to everyone, they just have to come to us and express.
HLC, because I mentioned some of the things that they do too, and with the diapers and, for the,
I did.
okay, parents that have their kids, and you'll be providing these diapers.
Any individual, anybody, there's no economics involved in picking up. He may be on to do some in-kind. It's fill out a form. Once it's announced that they come, address, telephone number, he wants to card, and what you're picking up. Because my idea is that they is one thing, human services is one of their vendors. They're already receiving them the diamond bank in the deal to start. So now, it's we talk to all who, but it's open to everyone. They just have to express interest in helping. And they'll be setting up programs, educational jobs.
And
to
you
get
said you
these
was
new
gonna
parents that's
also
coming in
approach the
and
city.
try to get their job skills and all things to go.
That have their kids in.
I talked with Mary Hill, and they said as soon as we open the financially start doing that, Washington Baptist, he may be able to do some in-kind. So we tell people who are interested in helping, but it's just, he wants to speak with you and, get up in this kickstarter. Because my idea is that they want some of the human services is
I have no question.
they're already receiving from the diaper bank.
Seems like to me,
So now, it's $300.
something this
But it's
important,
open to everyone, they just have to come to us and express.
and they just asking for
I know you mentioned this to
$300.
me earlier,
Seems like to me,
and
all the
you
people
said
that
you
do
was
business
gonna
that
also
I'm
approach the city.
I didn't.
Okay.
once you get it out there, I'm praying.
That have their kids in.
hopefully
With the mayor.
they'll wanna give
And he said,
some funds to you to do exactly what you're talking about once they get it out there.
yeah,
Because
it's gonna open, we're gonna make that happen one way or the other, but I wanted to present it to the board because it's going
Well,
to be.
if he don't check and see if it's legal, what I'm saying is,
My
people,
some of the human services is one of their vendors.
they got millions and millions of dollars that they get from Adams County Board of
So now,
Supervisors.
yeah, it's
And if they can't give back $300,
it's open to everyone.
and another one get $300, something wrong, cause you just can't take, and don't give back.
And
So I'm just saying, once it get out there like that, this community is known for
that have their
giving back
kids
and
in.
helping out, especially if something that's important.
Well, that's why I came to the board, and I feel like once we got enough
So,
support, he may be able to see these kind of ideas, go forward with it, and then get out in the public, see people, he wants to speak with you. Start asking for
donations.
So, because my idea, so I have everything from the human services.
Well, we're gonna start looking
One
for
of
their
their
attorney.
They're already receiving from the diaper bank.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much for your time. It's $300, and the sheriff is gonna, it's open to everyone. They just have to-
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Okay, I know you mentioned this to me earlier, and you said you was gonna also approach the
All right,
city.
the next thing I have on here is.
That have their kids
Need
in.
all the raises and everything. It was one of our officers who was left out.
Financially.
That was Michael Tracy. And I don't know if he had talked to you about this or not, he said he was, but then he went out with major surgery, so has he said anything about this?
Because my
You gotta
from
get
the human services is one of their vendors.
Okay, well,
They're
it's just,
already receiving.
he was the only one that got left out, and I was
So
asking
now,
for the change.
it's $300.
1786.
but it's
You
open
leave
for
out on the
everyone.
raise or just the pay of increase? Was it the raise to me earlier? And
To be
I
certain,
you said you was
this is
gonna
the number
also
he gave me,
approach
they
the
said that
city.
he didn't get anything.
Oh,
But I could be wrong though, that's why I asked you, did he talk to
He
you?
didn't get the raise.
When we did all the raises and everything, it was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. And I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to you about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery. So has he said anything about
It was 16
Okay, you got it here.
I have a.
Okay. Well, it was just, he was the only one that got left out on it, and I was asking the board to change the rate of pay to 1786.
Did you leave out on the raise or just the pay of increase? Was it the raise?
I think to be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. It was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. And I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to you about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery. So has he said anything about this? Okay, you got it here. Okay. Well, it was just, he was the only one that got left out on it, and I was asking the board to change the rate of pay to 1786.
Did you leave out on the raise or just the pay of increase? Was it the raise?
I think to be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. It was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. And I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery. So has he said anything about this?
They get permission from the.
Okay, you got it.
And also, it's supposed to be in the sheriff.
Okay. Well, it was just, he was the only one that got left out on it, and I was asking the board to change the rate of pay to 1786.
Did you leave out on the raise or just the pay of increase? Was it the raise?
Now they're gonna be covered, they're working within that.
To be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything.
I mean, they're.
But I could be wrong. That's when we did all the raises and everything. One of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. And I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to you about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery. So has he said anything about this?
If anything that goes to his budget is travel.
Okay, you got it here. Okay. Well, it was just, he was the only one that got left out on it, and I was asking the board to change the rate of pay to 1786.
Go over your budget.
Did you
No,
leave
that's
out
not,
on the
that's
raise
where you have
or
your
just the
issue,
pay
you
of
don't want your
increase?
budget, that's not what I'm sure
The
about.
raise?
I think to be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. It was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. And I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to you about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery. So has he said anything? Okay, you got it here. Okay. Well, it was just, he was the only one that got left out on it, and I was asking the board to change the rate of pay to 1786.
Did you leave out on the raise or just the pay of increase? Was it the raise?
I think to be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. There was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. And I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to you about this or not. He said he was, but he went out with major surgery. So has he said anything?
In the past, he didn't go out of way.
You got it here. Okay. Well, it was just, he was the only one that got left out on it, and I was asking the board to change the rate of pay to 1786.
We had to start.
Did you leave out on the raise or just the pay of increase?
We just had a SWAT training here.
I think
It didn't have to come from the
to be
board.
certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. It was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. Andy, I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to you about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery, so has he said anything about this? Okay, you got it. Okay. Well, it was just, he was the only one that got it on it, and I was actually able to change the rate of pay to 1786.
Did you leave out on the raise or just the pay of increase? The raise?
I think to be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. It was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. Andy, I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to you about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery. So has he said anything about this? Okay, you got it. Okay. It was just, he was the only one that got left out on this, and I was asking for to change the rate of pay to 1786.
The raise.
The last thing I have that I'll get out you all
the raise.
is I know supervised games. To be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. It was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. Andy, I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to me about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery.
Well, you know, one
has
of the
he
things
said
that
anything
I don't know,
about
I was trying to,
okay, you got it.
Administrative.
Okay. Well, it was just,
questions that I
he was the
had,
only one
I
that
know
got
you
left out
said
on it, and I was asking for to change the rate of pay to
the Wi-Fi
1786.
part.
Did you leave out on the
And we
raise or
needed,
just the pay
you know,
of
when we
increase?
spoke, you said all of
The
them stayed
raise?
for except two spots. I mean, that
To be certain,
other than,
this is the number he
people allowed them
gave me. They
to come
said
in.
that he
And so
he
we
didn't
just
get
need to
anything.
get,
But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and
to make sure that
everything. It was
those
one of
folks are
our
allowed to
officers
plug
who
in,
was
so
left
we're
out.
trying to get,
That was Michael Tracy.
figures that I think,
I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to me about this or not. He said he was, but
the county
then he went out
board, I think
with
we want to
major
get on
surgery.
top
So
of this.
has he said anything about this?
So what about that?
Now, okay, you got it.
To let us tap in.
Okay. Well, it was just, he was the only one that got left out on it, and I was asking for to change the rate of pay to 1786.
Did you leave out on the raise or just the pay of increase? The raise?
To be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. It was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. Andy, I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to me about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery. So has he said anything about this?
You don't remember that you said that these businesses.
You got it.
Think you said the store or something.
It was just, he was the only one that got left out on it, and I was asking for to change the rate of pay to 1786.
Did you leave out on the raise or just the pay of increase? The raise?
To be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. It was one of our officers who was left out. That was Michael Tracy. Andy, I don't know if Chief Neal had been talking to me about this or not. He said he was, but then he went out with major surgery. So has he said anything about this?
Do boards mind if I work with you?
Okay, you got it.
So I have to call everybody.
Okay.
I mean, and
It was
once
just,
you get the numbers.
he was the only one that got left out on it, and I was asking for to change the rate of pay to 1786.
Did you leave out on the raise or just the pay of increase?
I would like to do that.
The raise?
To be certain, this is the number he gave me. They said that he didn't get anything. But I could be wrong though. That's when we did all the raises and everything. It was
Whoever, I don't mean to single anybody out.
Is trying to figure out who's gonna fund what or what we need to fund, so we can actually get a figure and we can bring it to the board, or we can kind of vote on it if that's our portion of our.
How about this? Let me ask the board this. Do boards mind if I work with you on this?
Since,
So I'm gonna call everybody. I mean,
and
and once we get the numbers, we inform everybody.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So we can work out on how to do all this in the board. But you want to hand it up. I would like to do this. Me, you, and Sheriff can go and get together and actually go around.
Whatever they need
That
to
way I can bring
have,
something
get
back
on
and
the
send
internet
to the board.
and all this
Yes,
stuff.
okay.
That sounds great, I don't have a problem with
That's
it.
basically what I
So the
was
board having a
Me
problem?
personally, I think if
trying
we
to
just
figure out
right now,
who's gonna fund what, or what we need to fund, so we can actually get a figure,
Right
we
now,
can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote
hooked
on
up
if that's
right
our
now,
portion of
immediately.
How about
our
this?
And I think they're gonna put in
The board
everything
mind
else
if I work
for them other areas, right?
And that's what I'm saying. I call everybody, go ahead and move. I mean, and once we get the numbers, inform everybody. Like, see what I'm saying? I mean, so we can work out on how to do all this in the board. So whatever you decide, hand it up. You can always like to do this. So me, you, and Eric can go and get together and actually go
How
line
are you
for
gonna
line.
identify those?
And that way I can bring something back that's solid to the board.
How?
Yeah, that's okay.
Right. That sounds great, I don't have a problem with it.
That's basically what I was
So the board having a problem?
We keep a lot of statistics.
Trying to figure out, who's gonna fund what, or what we need to fund, so we can actually get a figure, and we can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote on if that's our portion of our.
How about this? See, one thing we keep in the board's mind about working with neighbors is where we collect the shit. I call everybody and send them out. I mean, and once we get the numbers, neighbors can show them everywhere. See what I'm saying? So we can work out how to do all this on the board. But since you want to it up, neighbors have shown us, I would like to do this. So me and Aaron and John get together and actually line for line. So neighbors, and that way along with them back, that's solid to the board. Inside the sheriff
That sounds
office
great, I don't have a problem.
helps us
So
identify.
the board having a problem?
I'm trying to do
Trust me, it's very.
trying to figure out, who's gonna fund what, or what we need to
We know,
fund, so we
that's
can
why we
actually
pick the
get
area.
a figure, and we can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote on if that's our
You know,
portion of our.
statistic and based on the board, I find our neighbors on everything that we see, because the sheriff office, so we'll have to call everybody. Whether I mean, and once we get the numbers, nobody inform everybody. See what I'm saying? So we can work out on how to do all this in the board, so we can, since you want to hand it up, see how, I would like to do this, so me, you, and Eric can go and get together and actually go line for line on this thing. And that way I can bring something back that's solid to the board. Now, that's okay.
Right, that sounds great.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Basically, what
So the board
So-
having a problem?
I'm trying to do is trying to figure out,
You gonna get
who's
the supervisor
gonna
game and
fund
come
what,
up
or
with
what we need to fund, so we can actually
Yes.
get a figure, and we can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote on
of it, so
if
we
that's
all
our
narrow it
portion
down.
of our.
How about that, the actual board deal, because they gave us mine if I work all this, you want me to know what house, so I'm gonna have to call everybody, what house is gonna allow. I mean, and once we get the numbers, inform everybody, go ahead and get it. See what I'm saying? So we can work out on how to do all this in the board, but since you want to hand it up,
I'm just trying to get a final.
I would like to do this, so me, you, and Eric can all
And
get
then we
together.
can vote on it, you know, I know that's where it's gonna, boil down to, if that final cost, if we can make sure that administration, don't make sure that we have enough money to plug that in without trying to figure out, who's gonna fund what, or what we need to fund, so we can actually get a figure, and we can bring it to the board, and we can vote on, if that's our portion of our.
How about that? Let me ask the board this. The board, mind if I work with you?
Yes, final price.
We can do it, and call everybody, I mean, and once we get the numbers, inform everybody.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So we can work out on how to do all this. Well, they're confused, that's why I'm handing it up. So I need to send them over to, I would like to do this, me and Eric. One other thing I do want to make the board well, and that way I can bring something back, some main solid to the sheriff office, that's okay.
Right, that sounds great, I don't have a problem with it.
That's basically what I was
I need to have one of my command staff
is
leave.
trying to figure out,
And that's gonna be.
who's gonna fund what, or what we need to fund, so we can actually
And so.
get a figure, and we can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote on if that's our portion of our.
How about this? Let me actually restructure some things. Board mind if I work with, so you want me to next meeting, I'm just gonna get it. So I'm gonna have to call everybody, I mean, and once we get the numbers, it's gonna inform everybody.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So we can work out on how to do all this in the board, but since you want to hand it up, I would like to do this, so me, you, and Kara can go and get together and actually go line by line. And that way I can bring something back that's solid to the board.
And the
That's
public
okay.
comments, right? That's not public comments.
That's basically what
So the public comments.
I'm trying to
Ms.
do.
Kane Carroll, do you have anything?
Trying to figure out,
Thank you, I appreciate that.
who's gonna
I
fund
just
what,
wanna
or what we
recognize,
need to fund, so we can actually get a figure and we can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote on if that's our portion of our.
How about this? Let me ask you,
Nothing other than I would appreciate the
You want me to-
opportunity of service and.
So I had to call everybody. I mean, and once we get the numbers, inform everybody.
You all to know.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
President.
So we can work out, won't have to do all this in the board, but I'm, since you want to hand it up, I would like to do this, so me, you, and Kara can go and get together and actually go line for line with this thing.
Thank you for
And that way I can bring something back that's solid to the board.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
that's
much.
okay.
Right. That sounds great.
That's basically what I'm trying to do, is trying to figure out, who's gonna fund what, or what we need to fund, so we can actually get a figure and we can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote on if that's our portion of our.
How about this? Let me ask the board this. Do the board mind if I work with you on this? So I won't have to call everybody.
Meeting.
I mean, and once we get the numbers, inform everybody.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So we can work out how to do all this in the board. But I'm, since you want to hand it up,
We talked about
I would like to do this, so me, you, and Kara can go and get together and actually go line for line with this thing. And that way I can bring something back that's solid to the board.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Right. That sounds great. I don't have a problem.
That's basically what I'm trying to do, is trying to figure out, who's gonna fund what, or what we need to fund, so we can actually get a figure and we can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote on if that's our portion of our.
How about this? Let me ask the board. Do the board mind if I work with you on this? So I won't have to call everybody. I mean, and once we get the numbers, inform everybody.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So we can work out, won't have to do all this in the board. But I'm, since you want to hand it up,
Yeah.
I would like to do this, so me, you, and Kara can go and get together and actually go line for line.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That way I can bring something back. that's
But
solid.
anyway,
Yeah, that's okay.
That sounds great.
I'm waiting on the letter
Basically what
from one of our
I'm trying to do,
recreation commissioners.
trying to figure out, who's gonna fund what, or what we need to fund, so we can actually get a figure and we can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote on if that's our portion of our.
How about this? Let me ask the board.
And,
Do the board mind if I work with you on this?
Scott.
So I won't have to call everybody. I mean, and once we get the numbers, inform everybody.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So we can work out, won't have to do all this in the board, but I'm, since you want to hand it up,
I'll report back on.
I would like to do this, so me, you, and Kara can go and get together and actually go line.
To my knowledge, we haven't gotten a.
And that way I can bring something back that's solid to the board.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Right. That sounds
I
great.
mean, I think that,
That's basically what I'm
speculating, but I think
trying to do, is trying to figure out, who's gonna fund what, or what we need to fund, so we can actually get a figure and we can bring it to the board, and we can kind of vote on if that's our portion of our.
How about this? Let me ask the board.
You taking our time and getting it right the first time.
yes, sir.
It's sometimes it can be a long process.
Yes, sir.
Again, I just hope and pray that we get that money from Morgantown, because I know everybody on this board want it done, but me and Supervisor Gaines have a vested interest in Morgantown Road, and we get all the calls, and people really don't think that it's gonna happen. But, you know, they have, I'm speaking for them on this one, because I don't hear them say it. They have our word on it's gonna happen one way or the other. So, that's the reason I was asking our, people in here today, give us a timeline on this money, because if they can't come through with this money, then we're gonna have to do other things to try to go on, get Morgantown taken care of, and get the other young man say we might be able to use some of that other money. So we got all kind of different avenues that we looking into to try to take care of Morgantown Road. I heard something on the news last night, and it was dealing with this infrastructure money. And you know, they always told us, Mr. Dollar, shovel ready. I heard last night they say shovel worthy. it could be shovel ready, but if it's shovel worthy. So I don't know, you know, everything changes as stuff go on and get a different name. And our project shovel ready, we ready. But then I hope they don't come up and figure out, say, well, is it worthy of whatever? So, you know, they always try to find a way not to give you some money. The last thing is my obituary is, I simply goes out to the Winston, the Wade family, Mr. Manson Wade was an usher at my church, and he took me under his wings and really taught me how to be an usher. And this is one of the greatest men I ever knew in my life. With his character, his personality, with everything. He just was a great man to me. McGraw and Miss Eugenia Perry was a long time educator, and she passed. And I had a missing sibling in my days, and Miss Perry said, "Oh, no problem. I live in Hattiesburg. I can find her for you." And one day she had me a number to my sister, so she was real indebted in my heart to her for helping me find one of my sisters. The Carter family, and I had two classmates that passed. The Ridley family and the Johnson family. The Butler family and Dr. McAfee, all of us, I guess, knew Dr. McAfee with the extension program. He passed away. I don't know if y'all know that, but he passed away. And the Davis, the Bland, the Woods, the Chapman, the Washington, and the Bland family. I do have a little kind of feeling about what happened in Houston, Texas. Even though it was in Houston, they had a big concert and all those people lost their lives. Now it's up to 9. I heard last night that somebody died in the hospital last night. So we need to be careful with whatever we have. It ain't what you have, it's how you do it. But that pretty much concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Gray. Supervisor Middleton.
Everything I have is taken care of before and during the meeting, but I would like to say the last 2 years due to COVID has been a strain on families and communities. And I hope that next week everyone has a happy Thanksgiving and takes time to be with family that they maybe weren't able to be with last year, and maybe memories of family that has been taken during this time. So I just hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving next week.
They will be watching the Cowboys.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Wilson.
I don't know how you go after that. Robbie, I got a question for you. This lady that's called me again about El Briar Lane, and did you meet with Clarence Jones?
Have spoke with them. The two foremen just met with both of them. Met with Curly and spoke with the sister too. I don't know what we're gonna do to address the issue.
Is there an issue?
Well, they said the county put a pipe in and diverted the water on her, but I'd rather not get into all that, but we're gonna look at it.
What's that okay.
Out there on Kings and it, you know, Fairwood Road out here, two places people here, so I don't know now what's, but anyhow, we working on it.
Oh, okay.
We
All
have
right.
spoke
You
with
get
them.
called. Sheriff, did you give a trash report?
No, it's not the first yet.
Oh, okay, it's only on first. Because I've got complaints about Southwood Lodge Road and Highway 61. People want to know why we're cutting the grass and then we're not picking up the trash first. And I'm thinking, because you can't see it. But at any rate, and I think still some of the trash on Kingston Road and 61 South is due to the trailer park, and I'm hoping that will eventually get resolved, where we don't have trucks running up down the highway and dump trash all over the place. And everybody have a good Thanksgiving, and that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Wilson. Supervisor Gaines.
Yeah, mine will be short too. I just kind of said, think about Supervisor Gray said we do have an obligation that we're trying to get Morgantown Road. Cause I hear it all the time. I mean, pretty much everywhere I go, somebody say, well, what about Morgantown? What about Morgantown? And just want to assure them that we're working hard and diligently trying to get that road paved. And So we gon' hopefully that if we can, hopefully we'll get the money out of all the avenues, especially with the infrastructure being paid, that we'll get that. And once we get our money, to see how it's distributed, I know it came up in a boardroom once before. We did get a letter from Broadmoor Utilities, and that I remember they asked for some help on maybe the new water system out there. And so maybe with the infrastructure plan that they might have some different avenues, there might be some grants and stuff like that out there. But I wanted to bring that up. And last but not least, I would always, my heart goes out to people who are in bereavement, but Terry really was my family, and I would ask y'all to keep the Gaines and Kings, Carols, Johnsons, keep us out of prayer. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Madam President, I missed one. I didn't write it down. I forgot to say the Wallace family. Tone Wallace lost his wife, which is Keith Wallace's sister-in-law. So Tone Wallace lost his wife. She was a Simpson from Milestone. I forgot that.
Thank you. All right. Attorney Scott Slover.
I have an item I'd like to.
Close
determining.
Okay. Chancellor Clerk Brandon Lewis.
I just have a couple of things. We are at the time when we are mailing out or going to ask for the board's authority to mail out the December postcards for the tax redemption. This is a courtesy that we started doing a couple of years ago. And actually we've had a lot of people come in and pay their taxes. So that's, I think it's been a good thing. The total cost, and it is in my budget, is $293.20. And just want to ask for the authority for the board to send those out and execute any paperwork needed to do so.
You heard the request?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. The ayes have it. The motion carried unanimously.
Need to have spread across the minutes the December bond renewals. They're for Marilyn Jackson, Eileen Marr, Chrisetta Thomas, Christy Sewell, and Angie King.
You heard the request?
So moved.
Got a motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. The ayes have it. Motion carried unanimously.
Need to have the October 2021 Chantry tax redemption settlement spread across the minutes, please.
You heard the request. Got a motion by Supervisor Gray,
Second.
second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. Ayes have it. Motion carried unanimously.
Need to spread the sheriff's October renewal report across the minutes, please.
You heard the request. Got a motion by Supervisor Gray,
Second.
second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. The ayes have it. Motion carried unanimously.
Judge Eileen Marr, who's one of our justice court judges, provided us with her certificate of attendance, and she's required to present that to the board and have to spread across the minutes.
You heard the request.
So moved.
Got a motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Gray. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. The ayes have it. Motion carried unanimously.
So two more items. We received back the executed copy of the Bancorp lease purchase agreement for the equipment for the road department, and we need to have that spread across the minutes, please.
You heard the request. Got a motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. The ayes have it. Motion carried unanimously.
The last item I have, I was approached by the Historic Natchez Foundation. We are required, Chancery is required to maintain the bound versions of the Natchez Democrat. Of course, we have collected many over the years. We're running out of space on the third floor, and so I think it's pretty timely for them to come to us. They, I think they're aware of it. They just did a big upgrade of their facility here on Commerce Street. It's climate controlled, and it's a really nice facility. I went through it a couple of months ago. And so they have asked if the county would mind if they took over housing the newspapers for us. I know some of the older ones are disintegrating upstairs because, you know, it's an air conditioner, but, you know, they can do the climate control individually by the rooms and things of that sort. So just to let you know what we did in the past when we have issued over county records to them, I've had them sign up on something saying that they are housing the records for, and it's still for the county, so it's still under our custody and control, but they're gonna maintain them for us. I personally think this would be something good. They have the space to do it, and they'll be better organized, I think, as well. I'm sure Flavis would like to have them out of there as well, because it's kind of overrunning her office. So, but just really, I don't know if it requires a motion, but just wanted to talk to the board, and certainly didn't want it to do it without y'all's knowledge.
Is it gonna cost us anything?
Not cost us.
You said it's old newspaper?
Yes, sir.
Sheriff, you have some?
Who did you say, I missed who you said is gonna do that?
The Historic Natchez Foundation. So Carter Burns and Mimi Miller approached me last week and just said, "Hey, look, we'd love to have these. If y'all wouldn't mind us taking them over." And
They only want papers?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it appears right now.
You
It
want
appears
to
right now.
Yeah,
That other deal.
that's
I
right.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Madam President, may I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Will they still be available to the public?
Yes. Anything that we provide to them is available just as it would be for the county, if it was at the county, and if it was here in the clerk's office or in the courthouse. They're open, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, completely open to the public. And I'll be honest, they'll probably be more easily accessible and organized because they have, much more significant space than we do to house them. So I think it'd be better for people that are coming to search them as well.
So what you trying to say, it's just county business. So if they really wanna know how many points I scored and how many touchdowns we scored, they're gonna have to go to the Democrats.
They're gonna have to go to the Historic Natchez.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, so, that's right. And they'll be able to find them more quickly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We have like a bet going on.
Have anything else?
No, that's
all you have? Okay. Deputy Clerk Paige Dean. You don't have anything? County Administrator
I
Engineer.
have two items. I received another modification from ICE to this rate of policy means it's a reduction as a matter of fact.
It's a reduction from the first one?
Right, $723,736.96. And the reason for it is because that their fiscal year ended. There was the excess money that they had left. They had to submit.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect this fiscal year, this is last fiscal year.
Okay. You heard the request?
So moved.
Got a motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carried unanimously. You have anything else?
Yes, I received 2 bids for the John Deere Motorgrader for the road department. At a cost of $275,586. The first bid was from Bancorp South at a rate of 2.59%. And Trustmark has a rate of 2.58. So Trustmark, one bid.
Is that one qualified or unqualified? Trustmark. Was it, they're waiting on our audit?
They haven't asked for it.
Who hasn't asked for it?
Trustmark has.
Trustmark.
That's good.
Okay.
The Bancorp said that they're qualified with the exception, that we got
Okay.
but Trustmark has not specified.
Good.
Okay. And you said Trustmark is the
Has the
Lowest
lowest in this bid. Okay. You heard the request? Got a motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Middleton. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carried unanimously.
Can I be excused? I
Yeah.
have another meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
Okay, okay.
Madam President, if I could
Yes,
get
go
the
ahead.
board's attention, somebody forgot to bring up. We have county depository bids coming up. We sent out notice for people to come bid on the county. We got the advertisement back and everything.
I'm actually emailing you right now because I haven't gotten it back. So.
Okay, let's see if we can, let's defer this until after, if we can get a proof of advertisement back, because I'll make sure advertisement went out. Our county depository is becoming due, so we gotta re-up our county depository. Right now, we only have one bid.
Okay.
I've been told by bankers that public money and depositories now are no longer in vogue versus when we did it a couple of years ago where everybody wanted it. Now no one wants it. So,
Oh, okay. So we only got one bid?
which honestly, it's Concordia Bank who are current depository is with right now. So at least from a getting it switched over, that would be a real easy transition. It just is not going to be, my guess is it's not going to be a lot of interest anymore. We were getting 1.51%. I think it's going to be anywhere that high. So.
Okay.
I'll send out the email real quick.
Yes, you can get that through.
Trying to get it out.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll send the email in.
Alright, I'll be on my report. Yeah, I don't know, my report is not long. Okay, the only thing I want to say is, you talked about the COVID-19, continue to wear your mask. Just because the declaration is gonna expire on November the 30th. Those who want to continue to wear them, please do continue. And don't forget to go out and get vaccinated. That is so important. Now they're doing the booster shots. So I advise you all to go ahead and take the booster shot. Another thing is, I need to get approval for the board members to attend the Midwinter conference. That's January the 11th to the 13th, and we're trying to do that to make sure you secure a room. So go ahead and approve this. Got a motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. The ayes have it, motion carried unanimously. And I understand they don't sold out the Sheraton already. That's what Cadet said. They sold out in 2 hours. I told her to make sure because I know at some time they said they sold out and it's just that they hadn't gone through the block. The other part is sold out, but the block usually is not sold out. But in case it is, here's a list that you can select another room from.
Madam President,
Go
that
ahead.
is all board, Chancery Clerk.
Chancery Clerk,
Road
Road Manager,
Okay.
Road Manager, Chancery Clerk, Attorney, Scott, and County Administrator. And also, the County Department, the Comptroller.
Is this a mandatory meeting or?
This one we have, like summer
you know.
comes in the winter comes.
Mandatory or not?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
I don't think any of
It's
them
not
are
mandatory.
mandatory. No, any of them
Not
are
for
mandatory.
supervisors, but
No. No.
Pass that on down,
No,
man.
pass that down.
You might have to give me a Airbnb.
Okay, that's all I have, and I like to say, well, let me say this. The road department, I think Robert brought this to my attention, it's in the minutes, it has always been this way. They'll shut down on December the 16th, and they'll reopen back on January the 3rd. Right, okay. So I just wanted to, I don't think we have to spread this across the meeting because it's already in the personnel policy. But I was just letting you know they will be closed those days. And that's all I have to say, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. You all have a safe, happy Thanksgiving. I know some of you all will be traveling, such as myself, so please be safe. Okay, so I need a recess, I need a motion for item to be determined. And I have an item to be determined also. Got a motion by Supervisor Middleton, second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. The ayes have the motion carried unanimously.